Let's see. Get my little readers out here. You guys could share this live out to as many people as you can. Share, 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 share. Ooh, I can't see with them glasses on. It's going to be a debate tonight. Just waiting for everyone to show up. I need everybody that's coming in to tap the screen, share the live, share with everyone you know. Yes, it's time. I can barely read it because I don't have my readers on, so bear with me. Hey, Kiki. MJ, if you want to just come up in the box, you can, and wait for them. God, I'm a mess. That's what happens when you don't get enough sleep and you end up with a headache. Hey, Kiki, nice seeing you in here. Here, I should move out of the way. Let me turn this around. How about I do that and then I don't have to look at people. Oh, wait, what did I do? Hold on, how do I turn this around? I don't never go live anymore. Damn, can't see nothing. See, visually impaired, everybody. Visually impaired. Thank you very much, Megan. How in the hell? Jaylee, what are you doing?
Live check 1 2 3.
Yep, it's working.
Cool.
Can you hear background noise? Because I got a fan on. Okay. Hey, Shaky. Everybody share it with everybody, please, and thank you. Sorry about my glasses. I can't see. I'm trying to share it out to people. Shaky, nobody's coming up other than the two people debating. I got to change my layout and everything. Let's see. How do I do this? Help! Help me. There we go. And how do I flip it? That's what I need to do so that nobody got to look at my ugly mug. Oh, there it goes. Flip camera. There, now you guys don't have to look at me anymore. To everyone, tap that screen. Let's get the likes up, please, and thank you. Please and thank you. Let me turn my fan off. There, maybe that'll be better. Share with everyone you know. No reporting. This is going to be a 1v1 debate. Yes, debating. They will be here at 7 o'clock. I just want everyone to get all the shares in, get the likes up, please, and thank you. There we go. I just started the event. Oh, you know what, Admir? You couldn't debate your way out of a paper bag. You better stop. I'm trying to figure out if you're conservative or liberal at this point. I know you like that one. Come on, let's get it up because I haven't been live in forever. So, I'm not going to get a lot of traction unless everybody shares it. It's going to be a lot of information. I don't want anyone reporting. I want everyone to listen objectively. I'm going to be on mute the whole time. I'm not saying anything. I'm just the vessel for this debate. Yeah, it is. It's on site, Admir. For you too. Decline whoever you are to co-host. There we go. Decline again. Why does she keep trying to decline, lady? Why you keep trying to come up on me? Okay. Okay. There we go. Can you hear me, MJ?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You good?
Okay. Yep. Yeah, it's probably going to be buffering because you know how TikTok is. Thank you, everybody. I'm just waiting for Tbone because I told them I was going to start about 15 minutes early just to so that people could come in and start sharing the live. Robert is live over there with some drama, and there's like 100 people in his sorry ass live over some shit that's been going on for 4 days that doesn't even need to be. And as soon as I said, just come to my live, we're starting a debate, he blocked me.
All right, I'm gonna share this out to a few people.
Thank you. Yeah, I unblocked every single person except for a few people, and it's nobody that you would share it to anyway, if that makes sense. Like Mr. Nice Guy, shoot, I forgot who else. It's just like three people. Everyone else has been unblocked. Everyone is welcome except for a few people. So
Well,
everyone,
I think we kind of want to know who the few people are now.
well, Hog Boss
No,
is
I'm
one.
kidding. I'm kidding.
I'll say
I'm
it.
joking.
Hog Boss is one of them. Only because he blocked me out of two lives when I didn't do nothing to him, and I forgot the other one. To be honest, it's not that important. I just don't want any reporting. I want it to be a good debate. You know what I'm saying for everybody?
Yeah. All right. So just so that we got this clear. Um. Well, I guess we need to wait for them. So are you gonna do the coin toss?
I can. I
All
got a
right.
quarter.
So the coin toss is gonna decide who gets to go first with opening. Now, whoever has opening is gonna the other person gets first close or gets last closing. So if you go first with opening, you go first with closing.
Got it.
Or you can either take it or defer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. You might want
All
to
right.
explain that once they get here. I'm sure they'll understand that, but
It's the same thing we did last time.
yeah. But they got 6 minutes, so I just wanted to make sure that I started a little early to get people in here and they could share the live. It's a shame that there's 36 people in here and there's 100 and some drama ass live that nobody even cares about anymore. Um, but everyone, could you keep sharing it out, please? Keep sharing, share, like the live. Sorry, Jen. I know I seen your comment. You're New York Jen, not Jen with two N's. I have to. Oh, when Officer Real Talk comes in, I need him to give me a heads up so I can I can mod him. I don't think we're mutuals. So Bex, if you're in here, can you let him know? Thank you for all the shares. Can you let
Do
him
I
know?
have most of us gonna ask, do I have mutability?
You should have everything.
I
Let's
mean, you
see.
can just cancel it out
Wait,
when we're
hold on.
done.
How do I not have you as?
Because
Hold
this
on.
is my backup. My main's
Okay, that's
gone.
what it is. Okay, so I gave you the ability to manage guests and more, block, mute, filter, review, filter comments, and comment settings. So there you go. Did you catch it?
I don't know. I haven't tried it. Let me kick somebody real quick. Yeah, I'll kick this dude. I don't know who this is. Yep, I'm good.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah, so you're gonna have a random come up and say, hey, why'd I get kicked? That's sorry. Luck of the draw.
Oh, what did you just mute him?
No, I just kicked somebody out
Oh,
and then just or yeah, muted them,
oh,
blocked them, and then unblocked them.
okay, Jen, could you? Oh, you already unblocked him.
Hmm.
Okay. All right, AJ's here. Let me invite him up. Or how'd that happen? Did I invite him? Jen. Let's see. I'm just still waiting for Officer to come in so I can mod him. Okay, AJ's here. I'll let him up. Just waiting for Tbone now. How should I have the layout? Here, AJ?
Oh yeah, what's the one where yeah, it's like the longer box and then you have the longer box and then we're like on but not the little tiny ones like these. It's like another one. Or did I make that up?
Oh wait.
Not that one.
Okay, hold on. This one I think it is. Fixed panel. That one?
No, it's
No.
the same. Well, it's about this. Well, I don't know. There was another one. Did they
Yeah,
take that one away?
I
Because I
don't
don't
think.
remember seeing it for a while.
Hold on, let me see. I heard that, yeah, but I think I've seen other people have it. Maybe once, you know what? Let me put it on this and then, hold on, I could switch the amount of people in it too. Grid. No, that ain't it. I'll get it fixed here. Oh, where's Officer? I missed them somehow. Okay, there you go. I got him.
I would change the format on the background, but we don't have time.
Okay. Hold on one second. Sorry about it's my mom's clock.
No, you good.
Because I'll be on mute as soon as the debate starts, so you won't have to worry about it.
But you could hear me fine with the AirPods on.
Yep.
Okay.
Officer, check your muting or your powers to see if they're working. Just mute somebody for like 5 seconds.
Now, isn't there a way to have these long boxes, but you on the side, Belinda?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna. Dang, it keeps doing it.
I'm just gonna say that was the whitest sounding clock I've heard in a long time.
Sorry, it was my
They,
mom.
I think that's it. Is that it? That looks like it is. Yeah, that's it.
But I thought that it was, I don't know, to make your guys' boxes bigger.
Mhm.
No?
I mean, I don't care, but I mean, as long as they're not the little tiny ones that we were in before, these are fine.
Do you want it a little bigger than that? The debate?
What do you mean? The flyer, the
Yeah.
background?
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause it's
because
hard to
because
see.
because it's cut off, and I don't have time to ratio it. Not that one. The other one. The other one we had. That was cool.
Okay, so I don't know who, you know what? Officer isn't modded yet? Okay, hold on. Add moderator. Oh, I forgot to hit confirm, sorry. There we go. Now try it. Okay, let me get this back to where it was now, and then you know what? I'm gonna go on mute while I play with this, and then MJ, you can explain to them
Yeah,
the
we
way.
can go through. We can go through the kind of like what they want to do. All right. So what I got is y'all. Both of you are going to open with a 3 to 5 minute opening. After that, each of you are going to take turns and go into a 10-minute presentation. I've got two 10-minute Q&As. How are y'all wanting to handle that? I can't hear either one of you if you're talking.
Check, check. Got me? I'm
Yep,
back. All
gotcha.
right. I believe it's T-bone me, T-bone me. So it's for the 10 minutes. We get 5 minutes each in that 10-minute block to
Okay.
question each other. So that's the first question, and then the second question in the second block for me.
Okay.
Same for
Gotcha. And then
him.
5 minute closing from each. Now,
Yes,
y'all remember last time we did the coin flip? If
yes.
you want to go first with your opening, then you will go first with your closing. All right. Now, if you win the coin flip, you can either take you can open or you can defer.
And if you win the coin toss and defer, I get to go last in the closing, correct?
Correct. Yes.
All right,
You'll go
cool, cool,
second in the opening and you'll go last in the closing.
got you.
T-Bone, cool.
T-Bone, your mic is muted.
I'm sorry, I had a phone call. What's up?
Yeah. So I was just explaining the coin flip, kind of how we did it last time. The winner of the
Okay.
coin flip can decide if they want to go first or last in the opening. You keep the same order in closing. So if you go first in the opening, you go first in closing. Now you can either take
Oh,
it and go first or you can defer. If you defer, you'll go second in opening and you'll have the last closing statement.
so we've got our two separate 10 minutes as well. Is that also going to be altered?
Correct. You're going to keep the same order until actually you'll keep the same order throughout the whole time. So even your two 10-minute presentations, like if you win and you defer, AJ will go first with his 10-minute presentation, then you will go second. AJ will do his 10-minute Q&A, and then you will do your 10-minute Q&A, and then AJ will do his 5-minute closing, and then you will do your 5-minute closing.
Okay, so the only switch up is going to be the closing. I got you.
No, it stays the same. Once you pick the order stays till
Right,
you're
but
done.
you're saying until we get to the closing, and then in the closing is when the alternative will present first if they went last during the opening.
No,
Correct?
if you win the coin toss, you either pick whether you want to go first or last. That's it.
Okay, copy.
Because it's going to keep the same order all the way down.
Okay.
All right. Belinda, are you going to do the coin flip? And who wants to call out of you two?
Hold on. I thought the cameras were going to be on.
Yeah, T-Bone, you got to get your camera on. Do you want me on cam to do the coin flip?
That's fine.
Okay. Gosh, you guys got to look at me again.
Let them decide who wants to call.
T-Bone's looking like a thug over there. Okay, how do I flip the camera?
It don't matter. He can go first. You call it.
Shit, how do I flip my camera again? See, I don't. Oh, there it goes. Oh, I just took it back off again. Okay, sorry. All right, here's the quarter, everyone. Who's calling?
I call heads.
You know I suck at this. Heads it is.
All right. I would like to defer.
Cool beans. Let me know whenever y'all ready.
All right, let me cut the timer on.
So if I defer, I'm first,
So
right?
if
Oh,
you
you want?
defer, no,
Oh,
if
okay.
you defer, T-Bone's first because you
Huh?
get the last closing.
Oh, I get it now. I get it now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it.
So I
Okay.
guess you could. Do you want to go first or?
Oh no, I was thinking of football, but go ahead.
All right, so 3 to 5 minutes. I mean,
Right.
just somewhere in that time frame. I'll let you go a little bit over, just same as last time. I'm gonna give you a 30-second warning, or in the 3 to 5 minutes, I'm gonna give you a minute, a 30-second, and a 10-second warning. At the end of 10 seconds, I'm not gonna cut you off unless you just abuse it. Um,
Okay.
a few seconds over is fine, but I'm gonna tell you to wrap it up, and I will mute you. So, all right, AJ or
By the way,
T-Bone,
for
are you ready?
anybody, yeah, one statement for anybody that's confused why I'm in the car. I actually had a party that I had to go to that I completely forgot about, and I couldn't miss this obligation. So I'm sitting in the car right now doing this debate. So yeah, but I still got everything ready. I got my iPad, so I ain't tripping about nothing. Let's go ahead.
All right. So T-Bone, whenever you want to start your opening, you're ready. You're on the clock.
So on April 19th of 1989, there was a situation in Central Park where multiple individuals, I'm put this phone down right here, where multiple individuals were beaten and assaulted and harassed. Specifically, there was a situation of Trisha Milley, who was assaulted, raped, and beaten nearly to unaliving, right? The problem that we have with these situations is right afterwards, we saw these police officers come and arrest all of these individuals. There was a plethora of teenagers that were arrested, and 5 boys, not even a year and a half after these individuals showed up to the precinct, were convicted of the raping of Trisha Melley. Now, those boys' names, for those of y'all who are confused, is Yusef Salam, Corey Wise, Kevin Richardson, Antoine McCrae, excuse me, and Raymond Santana. Mind you, these boys at the time were in between the ages of 14 to 16. They spent anywhere between 5 and 12 years in prison. In 2002, DNA evidence came out that showed that these boys were vacated of the crimes that they committed. So now we have an issue. Number one, if the crimes that they committed were true and they were guilty of the crimes that from April 19th of 1989, right? Then why were they vacated in the first place? Second question we need to ask is, after that vacated, why in 2025 do we have individuals like Donald Trump, Linda Fairstein, Charlie Kirk, and boneheads on TikTok that are still running with this stupid ass narrative that these individuals are guilty of the crimes that they committed after being vacated? I'm here to put that conversation to rest, and we're going to do it with 2 ways, right? Because there's multiple things with this case. We're not going to be able to get to everything. If y'all have questions for me afterwards, I can show y'all a bunch of information and we can go further in depth. But for right now, I'm going to highlight the important parts. It's going to be 2 things that we're looking at. The first thing that we need to look at, I agree with y'all, is going to be the justice. If a crime is done, we absolutely need to hold that person accountable. Don't give a damn if they black, white, Hispanic, your creed, color, does not matter. If you do the crime, you do that time. But that should be predicated off of the factual information that is presented, right? We need to understand that this country is built, that this country is built off of innocent until proven guilty, right? So if we're going to convict somebody and give them the tag of guilty, we need to see that the factual information that is being presented is consistent enough for us to give them this tag. What we will see is that that did not take place here. And I will show you that through the coercion of the detectives. I will show you that with the inconsistencies of the confessions that were given. And I will also show you, based off of the testimony of the individual who said that he did this, as well as the DNA evidence that came out, that these boys should not have spent any time in prison, nor should they have been given the tag of guilty. One more thing that I want to say before we wrap this up. If you are a conservative, you have a bias. The world is out to get us. The media lies to us. Everything that is being told to us is not true, right? I want you to put that to the side for the purposes of this debate. If you are a leftist, you also have a bias, and that bias is the protection of black individuals. I also want you to put that to the side because, as I stated before, if you are guilty of that crime, you need to do the time. So I could care less about your aversion to white supremacy at this point in time. I could give a damn about your wanting to protect black individuals. Because if these black individuals actually committed these crimes against Trisha Melley where they raped her, they deserve to do that time. So for the purposes of this debate, I want both of those biases to be removed, and I only want you to look at the factual information that I'm about to present you, as well as AJ.
Is that it? That's your opening?
Yep.
All right. AJ, you got 3 to 5 minutes. Clock starts on you.
The Central Park Five: Raymond Santana, Yusef Salam, Antron McCrae, Kevin Richardson, and Corey Wise were part of a pack of over 30 boys who entered Central Park on the evening of Wednesday, April 19th, to go wilding. Now, according to Oxford, wilding is the activity by a gang of youths of going on a protracted and violent rampage in a public place, attacking people at random. The term wilding was coined by the boys in their written and video testimonials. This wasn't a case about race. This was a case about right and wrong, and an understanding of one's rights when your unlawful actions place you in a police interrogation room. Most of my presentation is rooted in the over 200,000 case files available on the New York City Law Department website. That's nyc-cpj.org. Another website, centralpark5joggerattackers.org. The 2003 Armstrong Report, spearheaded by then New York City Police Commissioner Ray Kelly. The State of New York Department of Corrections. A book, Your Eyes or Your Life, The True Story of the Central Park Jogger Rapist by Richard Siracura. I Am the Central Park Jogger, A Story of Hope and Possibility by Patricia Miley. I will also reference the New York Daily News and the Washington Post. All notes, recorded videos, lab tests, police statements, rulings, testimonies, witness statements, and physical evidence can be found on those websites or in the reports, books, and newspapers mentioned. I will unpack the theory of coercion, the myth of false confessions, the politics behind a wrongful conviction settlement, and the lie that Mateus Reyes was the lone perpetrator of Patricia Miley. I will also debunk the idea that then private citizen Donald Trump took out a racially charged full-page ad in a New York City paper solely because the perpetrators were not Caucasian. In this hyper-racial world we live in, many of us have been conditioned to factor in the amount of melanin in someone's skin before we consider the truth. Being black, being male, being poor should never be attributes for shielding criminality or to justify uncouth behaviors. I'm here to argue facts, share evidence, and to be an advocate for the actual victims who just happen to be going about their lives in Central Park on Wednesday, April 19th, 1989. 3 people were severely injured that day, 2 of them knocked unconscious. The extent of their injuries were frightful. I intend to humanize them tonight, and I yield.
All right, T-Bone, 10-minute presentation. Clock starts on you.
Copy that. Give me just a second because I got to turn my camera over. All right, let me know when you're ready.
On you.
Awesome. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to need to look at is coercion. And I'm going to actually put this down for just a second so that we could talk about this and get into the first steps, right? This first step is coercion. This idea that these individuals were not coerced is absolutely bullshit, right? We have the testimony of these individuals afterwards that shows that they were coerced. First of all, that same website that he is talking about where he got that information, I also got this information. And what we can see here, and I'll pull up this picture if you give me just a second, is pictures of Kevin Richardson when he was in the precinct, right? These are after. Now we need to understand, right? The idea that there was no time for these individuals to be coerced is absolutely crazy. They were arrested at 9 p.m. on April 19th. Right after that, these interviews that you're seeing at the bottom took place on the 21st. Bare minimum was 30 hours in between that time frame. And just to be clear, there are certain testimonies like this one with Kevin Richardson that we can see of Raymond Santana and Steve Lopez, who do have their parents there when they are giving their written testimony. This in particular one does not with Kevin Richardson. In all of the videos that you can see with Elizabeth Warner, who is the ADA who is doing these recording these confessions, you can hear her state clearly, you had conversations with these detectives prior to us having this conversation, correct? So we do know that these conversations took place. The idea that coercion did not take place is absolutely false. The second thing that we need to go to is this man right here, right? And again, I'm going to go and pull all this information as well afterwards so I could show you all. But Corey Wise, sitting in this room, was taken to the crime scene that took place. Two things that we need to understand. The reason why he was taken there was because of the age that he was, which was 16. So there were certain things that they could do to Corey Wise that they couldn't do to anybody else. They specifically took him to the crime scene, showed him pictures, and even after taking him to the crime scene with detectives, right? After doing this, he then gave his confession, which the confession was not enough. So we know that he had to come back and give an exact another confession where he stated that he was involved in these things. Mind you, that still doesn't go up with anything else that has been said with other individuals. The only person to state that Corey Wise was there would have been Kevin Richardson. Everybody else had inconsistencies, from Michael Briscoe to Jermaine Robinson to Jono Smith. All of these individuals say something different. So if we are going based off of the confessions, and I would like to see how AJ does this, we would need to see why we trust some parts of these confessions, but not the other. Second thing is that we also need to, hold on, give me just a second. Second thing is that we need to understand that these pictures of Kevin Richardson were also going around with the beating on the face. You need to ask yourself the question, if he first got to the precinct, right, and he did not have any markings on the left side of his face, and here when he's giving his interview, he has the markings on the left side of his face, there's only two ways that this can happen. We can draw the conclusion that there was coercion, or we can trust what he says in the testimony. Now, testimony is telling us that he got this from the jogger. But Lamont McCoy says something completely different. He says that the police officers hit him and then told them that they were not able to speak when he wanted to ask Kevin Richardson specifically about where he got this mark from. Either ways, it wouldn't matter, because that means that the police officers put their hands on Kevin Richardson. So it wouldn't matter which testimony you agree with, because then you would just have to say that Kevin Richardson is lying, or that Lamont McCoy is lying, or that the detectives are lying. So now we got to figure out what actually happened with this. These same pictures were also used for Raymond Santana sitting at the table after a cop tried to lunge at him. And after that detective or police officer ended up leaving, he came back in to tell him, this guy right here has the scratch on his face. We know that he did this, and I know that you're a good kid, but I need you to give me something. And right after that is when he started to give his testimony. Again, without the parents there. These are things that we need to look at. This right here is Clarence Thomas, the picture that's in the top left. The issues that I have with the Clarence Thomas interview that took place is that the lady who was giving the interview, named Elizabeth Warner, lied to this individual. She says that multiple people said that you were there when this graping took place. This is a lie. The only person that said that he was there would have been Raymond Santana, and this was after the fact. Also, keep in mind that there were only two interviews prior to Clarence Thomas. So if she's going around saying that everybody is saying this can't be factual, because she didn't interview anybody else. The whole point of Elizabeth Warner was to turn around and get the confessions. That was it. Right after she interviewed Corey Wise and he said that he's had something to do with it, she didn't care about any other information. And then she went to saying, I have no further questions, this concludes. Because she didn't care about the truth. The only thing she cared about was pinning it on somebody. And we'll get to that second part of why she wanted to do this. The second thing that we're going to look at is Detective, and I can post these afterwards, but Detective Tom McKenna falsely told Yusuf Salam that there were fingerprints that were found on the victim's clothing, that his fingerprints were found on the clothing. Complete contradiction from what he says afterwards, which is specifically under cross-examination later in the state Supreme Court in Manhattan, the detective said that he knew of no fingerprints and that his reference to them was a lie. Can we please put this bullshit to rest? We're also going to get to Robert Garner's testimony and the timeline of this, because I would hope that AJ would agree that if we're using the testimony of these boys, that we would have to look at the stories as they follow. And it's always consistent. It starts with the homeless man that was beat up, then going to the individual that was in the green army jacket. Finally, the woman is great. Robert Garner, and they have the forms from his calls from AT&T as well, who states that he was there, says that he saw the woman jogger and then went up the hill and was antagonized by these boys. Now we're getting contradictions, because if Robert Garner's testimony is actually valid, that wouldn't make any fucking sense. There's no way that he could have seen this woman be attacked and then went up to be harassed by these boys when these boys are giving different a different testimony. I would agree with you all that things happened that night. What I am telling you is that the evidence that was brought against them is not consistent enough or valid enough for us to put them into that category. How much time do I have left?
You're at 7 minutes right now.
Okay, I'll close it right there because I got much more within this second portion.
All right, AJ, your 10-minute presentation starts on you.
A series of crimes were committed against 10 victims that evening, from robbery to assault to harassment, but most serious was the assault and the rape of Patricia Miley, aka the Central Park Jogger. In that pack of boys was Raymond Santana, Kevin Richardson, Corey Wise, Yusuf Salam, and Antron McCrae, better known to the world as the Central Park Five. Other notable participants from the pack are Stephen Lopez, Clarence Thomas, and Michael Briscoe. Several 911 calls were placed on the night of the crimes, and a pack of boys were met coming out of the park by Officer Eric Reynolds, his partner, Officer Robert Powers, and another officer on a scooter. They apprehended 5 boys: Michael Briscoe, 17, Kevin Richardson, 14, Raymond Santana, 14, Stephen Lopez, 15, Clarence Thomas, 14. In the subsequent weeks, 37 boys were brought in for questioning, read their Miranda rights, and some were even reminded of them several times. Many have, in the court of public opinion, have been persuaded to believe these boys were coerced and that their parents weren't present. That is untrue. Can Tbone mute, please? The only boy of the 6 main defendants whose parents weren't present was Corey Wise, who was 16 at the time of the crimes. In the state of New York, an individual 16 and over can be interviewed without their guardian. The judicial decision by Judge Thomas Galligan, who presided over the trial of the 5 defendants, is the only ruling in the case about the voluntariness of the statements of the attackers, which detailed exactly how they were made and why they were perfectly legal. According to Cornell law, the term coercion means threats of serious harm or physical restraint against any person, any scheme, plan, or pattern intended to cause a person to believe that a failure to perform an act would result in serious harm to or physical restraint against any person, or the abuse or threatened abuse of the law or the legal process. First, no good parent is going to sit by idle and watch their child get coerced into confessing to a crime. I've watched many interviews where people have been tempted to argue that the parents and the perpetrators were helpless and their ignorance of the legal process and the Constitution played a part. Lack of knowledge is not the fault of law enforcement. It is the responsibility of the individual to know their legal and constitutional rights before sitting in an interrogation room. They were also reminded of their rights when they were Mirandized. Your Miranda rights are rooted in the 5th and 6th Amendments of the Constitution. This isn't a legal miscarriage of justice. The root of these confession tapes is failed parenting. Now, since before the trial, the DNA samples taken from the victim did not match any of the 5 defendants, so it was always known that there was a 7th contributor at the scene of the crime. There were 2 trials. The first, defendants McCrae, Salam, and Santana were acquitted of attempted unaliving, but convicted of assault and rape of Patricia Miley, and convicted of assault and robbery of John Laughlin, a male jogger who was badly beaten that night in Central Park. They were sentenced to 5 to 10 years in a youth correctional facility. Richardson and Wise were tried in the second trial. Wise was convicted of the lesser charges of sexual abuse, assault, and riot in the attack on the female jogger and on John Laughlin. Richardson was the only one of the 5 defendants to be convicted of attempted unaliving of Miley, in addition to sodomy and assault of her and the robbery and riot and attack on John Laughlin. Wise was tried as an adult and was sentenced to 5 to 15 years in adult prison. Richardson got 5 to 10 years in a juvenile facility. The 6th defendant, Steve Lopez, pled guilty in March of 1991 to mugging jogger John Laughlin. The state made it clear that the case against Lopez was the weakest of them all, for he was the only one who denied any knowledge of attacking Miley even though he was implicated at the scene of the crime by several of the other defendants. It should also be noted that DNA was a very new technology in 1989 and had only been in the United States for about 2 years at the time of these crimes. The method used to gather trace evidence didn't advance until the late 1990s. There's a lack of conclusive evidence on the blood because of scientific limitations at the time, and blood samples found on Santana, Salam, and Lopez was never retested. It should be noted that the boys' testimony and physical evidence are not included in the Netflix series, not in modern newsreels, and they are never pressed about it at paid speaking engagements. It should be noted that the Central Park Five were not exonerated. Their case was vacated. Exonerated means you're innocent. The legal system got it wrong. Vacated means all court procedures were scrapped. You can, in fact, be retried. There was no reason to seek prosecution again because the boys had already served their sentences. Linda Fairstein, who directed the original prosecution, agreed with the decision to vacate the rape charges, but said the separate assault charges should remain. The defendants confessed to assaulting Patricia Miley, Anthony Diaz, John Laughlin, and 7 other people. In the 2003 Armstrong report, commissioned by New York City Police Commissioner Raymond Kelly, it is stated that the panel did not dispute the legal necessity of quote, did not dispute the legal necessity of setting aside the convictions of the 5 defendants based on the new DNA evidence that Mr. Reyes had raped the jogger. But it disputed the acceptance of Reyes' claim that he alone had raped the jogger, stating it was nothing more than his, quote, uncorroborated word that he acted alone. Armstrong said the panel believed the word of a serial rapist is not something to be heavily relied upon. The report concluded that the 5 men whose convictions had been vacated had most likely participated in the beating and rape of the jogger, and that the most likely scenario was that both the defendants and Reyes assaulted her successively. The court said Reyes most likely either joined in the attack as it was ending or waited until the defendants had moved on to their next victims before descending upon her himself, raping her and inflicting upon her the brutal injuries that almost caused her unaliving. It should also be noted that in the Armstrong report concluded that no misconduct in the 1989 investigation of the Central Park jogger case. As to the 5 defendants, the report said, we believe the inconsistencies contained in various statements were not such as to destroy their reliability. On the other hand, there was a general consistency that ran through the defendants' descriptions of the attack on the female jogger. She was knocked down on the road, dragged into the woods, hit, touched by several defendants, sexually abused by some, while others held her arms and legs and left her in a semi-unconscious state. Now let's talk about Mateus Reyes' confession. On May 23, 2002, Mateus Reyes confessed to assaulting and raping Patricia Miley without accomplices. They knew there wasn't a hit on the sperm found in Miley's lady parts and down there. They also have all the boys stating that they participated but did not penetrate her. DNA testing didn't implicate any of the boys. The court and the investigators already knew somebody was missing. The only thing that was new was that Reyes acted alone. During Reyes' confession, he couldn't remember if she was wearing a bra, couldn't remember what she looked like, didn't know how long her hair was, couldn't remember if he rolled her over on her stomach. He said he didn't take off her clothes and her shoes and socks. But photo evidence from the crime scene clearly shows those items were removed from the victim. Also, his semen was found on one of her socks. There's a lot of things you probably will forget after 13 years, but you can remember some of them.
Got 1 minute.
Oh, geez. All right, so we'll point back to Corey Wise. Corey Wise was initially questioned by Officer Jones. In the officer's notes, Wise mentions a person named Rudy. Says Rudy was playing with her breast and took the victim's Walkman. Wise also describes a fanny pack Miley had. Now, who is Rudy? Well, nobody could figure out who Rudy was until the 2019 book called Your Eyes Are Your Life, The True Story of the Central Park Jogger Rapist by Richard Siracusa. Who is Richard Siracusa? He was the former lawyer of Mateus Reyes. And he did a whole book on the life of Mateus Reyes and his horrible crimes. And he started interviewing people from his life. He went back to an old bodega that he worked at. And he says in his book, quote, I remember interviewing Papo, the owner of a bodega where Reyes worked in 1989.
10 seconds.
As I was questioning him, one of the workers indicated that he knew Reyes and that he answered to the name Rudy. He also answered to the name Tony. Corey mentioned Rudy in the interview with Officer Jones, but nobody knew because it was never made public. He also knew about the Walkman.
All right, time's up. Sorry, AJ, I'll let you go about 5 seconds over there. All right, T-Bone, 10 minutes Q&A.
No, it's the second portion of facts presented.
Okay, so you've got another 10 minutes. Is
Yeah,
that
and then he
correct?
has another 10, and then we go into Q&A.
All right, sounds good.
Wait.
All right, on you.
There's
Wait.
another 10 minutes?
Yeah, I
Yes.
thought there was another 10 minutes. That's what
Yeah,
I
you
put
both
in.
have
It's
another.
supposed to be 10 minutes of presenting for both of us. We get 2 of those slots, and then it goes into the Q&A. Now, I'm cool. Just to be clear, I'm cool with it if you
Oh,
didn't
no.
plan for it.
I mean,
Okay.
actually, I'm relieved because I get to get the rest of my statement out. But I
Gotcha.
didn't know I didn't know I had 10 more minutes, so that's cool. I wouldn't have rushed through that if I knew that. But go ahead.
All right. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Turn this camera around. All right. Let me know when I'm ready, MJ.
On you.
All right, so first thing, I want to look at the fact that the confessions being consistent need to be in there, right? Because if the confessions are consistent and we're caring about the confessions that were stated, Kevin Richardson specifically said that he was not there. So when AJ is saying that all of the boys stated that they were there and participated, that is a lie. That is a lie. Kevin Richardson did not state that he was there and that he had any involvement with this situation. We also don't have any video recording of Yusuf Salam stating that he was there either. The only individuals to state that they were there during the initial interviews would have been Antron McCray and Raymond Santana. Afterwards, after the second interview, Corey Wise had that conversation after sitting in a room with detectives for 30 minutes. I wonder why he would have come to an epiphany of stating that he needed to give this information. I digress. I would agree with you again that justice needs to be served. When there are individuals that are out here that are causing problems, specifically in New York at the time, right? And I want to highlight that there was a situation on April 17th. On April 17th, 2 days prior to, there was a lady that was doing Tai Chi in the park, right? She was sitting there and some guy came up to her and she was talking to him. All of a sudden he plunges at her, assaults her, and grapes her. Her damages were so bad that she was put in the hospital for 2 days. The only reason that the attack stopped was because a man came over and screamed, and the individual, the perpetrator, you would say, would end up leaving. Does anybody want to take a guess on who that was? Yes, sir. Mateus Reyes. The same individual that told you that he did this alone 2 days prior to did the exact same crime to a woman who was participating in Tai Chi in Central Park. But yet his evidence is not valid. Can we please stop with this bull? Let's first of all, this man had a nickname. He raped around seven individuals and unalived one, all by himself, never with another individual. Mateus Reyes had a consistency of doing these things. If anybody wants to see here, it's right there, right? So that then begs the question: if Mateus Reyes is telling you that he did it, and the DNA is coming out and it shows that he was there and participated in the grape of Trisha Mellon, and these boys are saying, listen, we were coerced, we did not do any of these things, and the DNA is coming out saying that they were not there, why would we trust any of the testimony of these boys after stating that they were coerced, and we don't trust Mateus Reyes? Furthermore, the idea that Mateus Reyes was known by these other individuals has not been shown to me, and I would like for him to show that information, because Tony, when they referred to him in the interviews, would have been Antonio. And if they did know of Ruby, there were plenty of other people that were there. Mateus Reyes was never brought in for questioning. So you would have me believe that they brought everybody that participated in that graping there, except for the one guy who did it, Mateus Reyes. What are the fucking chances of that? So when we're looking at this entire picture, why is it that these 5 boys were the ones who were convicted of the crime? It is simple. Because of all the crimes that were taking place, the prosecutors, the detectives, and the police officers, as well as the media, had to give off a false narrative that we had everything under control. That is the reason that this happened. I also want to take a look at this portion right here that clearly states that Jermaine Robinson and Michael Briscoe were also convicted of the crimes on other individuals. So if this wasn't just about the Trisha Miley situation, or Melly, whichever way you say it, if it wasn't about them, right, then we should have seen that they would have got consistent time. And they didn't. Michael Briscoe got 1 year in prison. Jermaine Robinson got 1 year in prison as well. And I believe that that time was actually bust down to 6 months, and with good behavior was out in 3. I would have to go back and verify that. These boys got 5+ years. So we know that this is specifically about the assault on that in particular jogger and does not have much to do with any of the others, because if that was the case, they wouldn't have gotten 5 years and Corey Wise wouldn't have been sentenced to 10 to 15. That is the first thing that we have to look at. Second thing that we need to look at here, going back to Mateus Reyes. This individual committed these crimes almost 13, I believe it was 13 years prior. If he committed these crimes 13 years prior, it's clear that he's not going to have every bit of information down to a T about what happened to this individual. But there is some consistency in what he says. He talks about the bodega and how he got off from work. He talks about going into that park, the zigzagging. He talks about how he was able to get that defendant, shows where she was. I'm sorry, the individual that was raped, Trisha, goes to the space that she was when detectives bring him out, shows the weapons that he used, and shows in the exact way of how this crime was committed. Now, as far as the pants not being on there and things of that nature, he didn't say this is not how these things happen. He simply stated that he could not remember. So the idea that we take this testimony as incredible is absolutely ridiculous. I do want to take a second to talk about Donald Trump, because the idea that Donald Trump did not have any influence on this is absolutely wild. And I didn't have time to make this slide, so I'll just speak on it. Donald Trump went on multiple shows speaking on the ad that he took out. When they talked about the case of the Central Park 5, he clearly stated that this was about those individuals. So if you want to say that this is about those individuals back in 1989 or 1990, whenever you bring that ad out, just make sure that you have the same energy in 2025 when interviewers are asking you about the case, which he does. The only people that disagree with this are his supporters, because they know how bad it sounds. But Donald Trump is on record of stating these things. At the time, he was one of the biggest individuals in real estate in New York, was very popular with movies throughout the decades. Oh, sorry. Without movies throughout the decades, right? Movies, TV shows, going to parties, you name it. So the ad that he took out had much influence on the community and their perception of these boys. And if they had simply not done this, and if the detectives have done the things that they were supposed to do, they would have been able to find out that Mateus Reyes was the individual who did this. The lady who was raped, who did Tai Chi, specifically stated that it was a Latino individual with stitches on his chin, immediately knowing that it was Mateus Reyes. But they threw this case out because 2 days after, another case happened. Am I stating that it should have been, am I stating that it didn't take precedence? Absolutely not. What I'm saying is that the case should not have gone cold, because if they had pursued this case, they would have known that those boys had nothing to do with the raping of them. Now, here's the thing. If these boys participated in the raping, I would need to see the confessions having consistency. Mr. Richard Gardner states specifically that when he went there, he was at the bottom of the hill, saw the women raped, went back up, and then was harassed by the boys. That makes no sense. Every other testimony given states that those boys hit the homeless person, hit the person in the green jacket, then went to go get Trisha Miley, and then left the park. Everybody states this, whether they say that they participated or not. By the way, we also need to look at the fact, and I'm going to go back to this here. This testimony right here is on that same page. This testimony right here is on that same page of
1
the
minute.
CPJ. This is on the same page of the CPJ.org. So this is just me attacking what he said. Of the CPJ.org that New York released 10,000 files. This file here shows you that Kevin Richardson did not have his parents present when giving this testimony. We need to put this to rest. If these boys committed a crime, I would agree with you that they should be guilty, even if it was on the homeless man or the other individual with the green jacket. But we just found, we just concluded with the convictions of Jermaine Robinson and Michael Briscoe that was not the case. So if in question and answer, I am going to also ask AJ these questions. Please give me the consistency
15 seconds.
because if there is consistency, now there's some type of validity that we can use. Also, with the equation of coercion, there's no way that any of their testimony can be credible in any way whatsoever.
All right. AJ, your 10 minutes starts on you.
All right, so I just want to point out the fact that I didn't say Yusuf Salam was not, I never said Yusuf Salam was included in the video. He never had a video, and I made that very clear that it was 4 of the boys who had videos. I made that clear. Yusuf Salam had a written statement that wasn't signed because Yusuf Salam lied about his age when he was brought in. He said he was 16 years old. Police then found out he was actually not 16 years old. So he then got to call, and then I believe someone in his family is a lawyer and told him not to sign the written statement. So he had a written statement, but he lied. So he lied about his age. Kevin Richardson did confess on that tape. He confessed to being scratched by the jogger on the tape. He confessed to being at the scene of the crime on the tape. If you watch the tape in its entirety, you would know that. Corey led them around the crime scene. They didn't shuffle him and tell him, oh, well, this is where it happened. That's not how it went down. And I just find it very disrespectful that you are very dismissive of Patricia Miley's name. She's the real victim here. Mateus Reyes' confession. Mateus Reyes confessed on May 23rd, 2002 to assaulting and raping Patricia Miley without accomplices. They knew there wasn't a hit on the sperm found on Patricia Miley. They also have all the boys stating they participated but did not penetrate. DNA testing didn't implicate any of the boys. The court and investigators already knew something was missing. The only thing that was new in this was that Mateus says he acted alone. Committing a previous crime alone doesn't mean this one was committed alone. That's just ridiculous. That was a horrible take. Take that back. During Reyes' confession, he couldn't remember if she was wearing a bra, couldn't remember what she looked like, didn't know how long her hair was. If you're zigzagging from behind, you know how long someone's hair is. He didn't take off her shoes and socks, but photo evidence from the crime scene clearly shows those items were removed from the victim. Also, his semen was found on one of her socks. There's a lot of details he doesn't remember of 13 years, and that's understood. He talked about running behind her, as I said, zigzagging, trying to be elusive. This was in his confession tape. But you don't remember how long her hair was. Kevin Richardson gave, this is how I know you lied. Kevin Richardson gave an accurate description of the length of her hair. Elizabeth Lederer, that's her name, not Miller, asked him specifically how long was her hair. And he answered short. The zigzag theory didn't hold up either when detectives reenacted Reyes' theory in the park. He claims to have knocked her in the back of the head with a branch to overpower her, but it doesn't match the scene. The detectives' findings were also corroborated in the Armstrong report. Corey Wise was initially questioned by Officer Joneser. In the officer's notes, Wise mentions a person named Rudy. Rudy was playing around was touching her and took the victim's Walkman. Wise also describes a fanny pack Miley had the Walkman in. So who's Rudy? Well, nobody could figure out until 2019 when a book is released called Your Eyes or Your Life, The Truth of the Central Park Jogger Grapist by Richard Siracusa. Mateus Reyes' former lawyer. In his book, he recalls going to the bodega where Reyes worked, and spoke to his boss about him. I remember interviewing Papo, owner of the bodega where Reyes worked in 1989. As I was questioning him, one of his workers indicated that he knew Reyes and that he answered to the name Rudy. He also answered to the name Tony. Corey mentioning Rudy in his interview with Officer Jonesa is interesting because no one ever mentioned that Walkman and fanny pack. It wasn't mentioned in any of the videos, not to mention in any major news source. It was only in that small interview note with Officer Jonesa. Reyes talked about taking her Walkman and fanny pack in the 2002 confession. A little compelling, isn't it? Yeah, whatever. Antron states in his video confession that another Puerto Rican kid wearing a hoodie was there. I know his name. It should also be noted that on March 6, 1990, Corey got into a physical altercation with Mateus Reyes on Rikers Island. The cause of the fight is unknown. In a modern interview, Wise brushed off the fight and says they made up. But according to the State of New York Department of Corrections, in January 2002, Mateus Reyes stated that he was in fear for his life if he remained in general population with Corey Wise. This is all recorded, by the way. It should also be noted that Reyes said in a recorded interview that he never discussed the case with Wise, not then and not now. The Armstrong report says there is also a reason to question Reyes' claim that a chance meeting with Wise in the yard at Auburn in 2001 triggered the remorse that led to his confession. Corrections officers checked the movements of both Wise and Reyes in 2001 at Auburn and asserted it's not possible that Reyes and Wise were ever any time together in the yard. Let's talk about the settlement. Politics played a big part in this settlement. Former New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio campaigned on the idea that he would settle this civil case that the Central Park Five had against the criminal justice system in the city of New York. This was deployed to round up black votes, which he got. Upon election, Mayor de Blasio secured a $41 million payout for the Central Park Five. It should be noted that under the previous mayor, Michael Bloomberg, the city refused to pursue a settlement for the lawsuits based on a conclusion that the defendants had had a fair trial. Speaking at a news conference in 2002, former Mayor Bloomberg spoke of his confidence regarding the actions of the police department. As far as I can tell, the NYPD did exactly what they should have done years ago when the terrible incident took place. If we see any reason that we acted inappropriately, Police Commissioner Kelly will certainly take appropriate measures. But so far, we believe the NYPD did act appropriately. It should also be noted that the burden of proof is much lower in a civil case, and I yield my time.
All right, sounds good. So now you have 5-minute closing arguments.
Oh, we're doing the closing now?
Q&A.
Q&A. Y'all want
Yeah.
to do Q&A? So how do you want to do it? 10 minutes each?
5 minutes each, two sets, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Tbone starts on you.
Yeah, first thing we're going to do is point out the fact that Kevin Richardson did not state that he had anything to do with the jogger. As a matter of fact, he said that when he was there, he tried to stop the other individuals. Lamont McCoy also testified this on his video by stating Kevin Richardson tried to stop them, and they said, nah, bro, you just a punk. And that's when the scratch happened with Kevin Richardson. By the way, Lamont McCoy also said that the scratch came from the police officer, but we'll get to that in just a second. You stated before this that you believe that there was a sixth individual who just wasn't caught. You believe
Seventh individual.
So who would have been that other individual?
The individual whose DNA was found in Patricia Miley.
Who would that have been, is what I'm asking.
You talked about it, Mateus Reyes.
No, yeah, you said 7, right? So that's the 5 boys plus Mateus Reyes. Who's
No. It's the 5 boys. Again, I went over all of this. So it's the 5 boys. Stephen Lopez is the 6th boy.
Right.
Stephen Lopez took the plea deal.
Okay. So
Cesar Lopez took the plea deal, and Mateus Reyes was the seventh person.
was his plea? Oh, just a second, because I got to go back to the plea deal on this one. You know what? I'll come back to that. My question is, why do you believe that?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, my question is, why do you believe that Mateus Reyes was the one who did this?
The DNA evidence proves he did it.
Okay, so we don't trust the testimony that he gave, stating that he did this prior to.
No, we don't trust the fact that his story does not match the crime scene. He did what he did. He penetrated her. He's the only one who did that. That was always clear. What you're trying to do is conflate this with him doing it alone. When you look at that crime scene, you know there's no way two people were here. If you look at the violence, the blood, the gall, and the fact that the other people who were assaulted in the park were assaulted with a metal pipe wrapped in black tape. How would they know that? How would all of those individual boys know of this weapon if they weren't there?
Yeah, because they brought around pictures of Yusef Salam and said that this was the boy who had it. There was also inconsistencies with that.
Oh, we could talk about Yusef Salam too if you like.
Hold on just a second. Yeah, because Yusef Salam was the one who was accused of having the pipe, apparently, which then turned around to
actually,
and then it was Raymond who had it. So there was inconsistencies with those boys stating who had the pipe.
Depends on who, right? So those inconsistencies does not mean that they didn't commit the crimes. There could be inconsistencies in the story. That doesn't get you off. That doesn't mean you beat the rap because there are inconsistencies in the stories. Yes, there are inconsistencies. The inconsistencies in the tape does not mean that you get to walk free.
Hold on, wait, stop. How is it that Mateus Reyes How is it that Mateus Reyes' inconsistencies makes you feel as though he's not trustworthy, but these boys all of a sudden are trustworthy with their inconsistencies? That makes absolutely no sense.
Well, first of all, if you listen to what I was saying, I didn't say everything he said was invalid.
Wait,
and then I also
it's simple.
Okay, you're gonna let me finish, or you gonna yell every time you don't like something?
Do we trust his testimony?
Yell every time you don't like something.
It's my 5 minutes. I can do what I want to.
Well, you're supposed to ask me a question and then shut up and let me answer it.
Do you trust his testimony? Yes or no? It's a very simple question.
I don't care. Moving on.
Go ahead, AJ. Are you gonna finish explaining?
Inconsistencies of confessions does not mean not guilty. Period. That will never fly in a court of law, and it didn't here. The only one who said that, from my recollection, was Clarence Thomas. He was the only one that said Antron McCrae had the pipe. Everybody else said Yusef Salam had the pipe.
That is
confessed.
That is
everyone.
Are lying to these people.
Okay, sure. I'm lying to these people. I'm not lying to these people.
I have the notes. You want me to tell you specifically who said that after this? Because I can do that.
Sure.
You got 1 minute left.
You can do that. Sure, you can do that.
Great. Okay, so we see the consistencies with this. Did we see the note with Kevin Richardson? Because you said you were on that page that has 10,000 documents that were released. We saw Kevin Richardson's document that stated what the confession that he gave. His parents were not on that confession, correct?
I don't have that in front of me.
Then, okay. So his parents were not there for that confession.
I would have to verify that later.
You should care because you're making the claim that
I didn't say I don't care. I said I will have to verify that later. Is that not what I said?
15 seconds.
I thought I heard you say. Okay, I thought I heard you say that. I'll get to my second questions in just a second, so he can go. It's on his 5 minutes.
Okay, great. So can you explain to us how inconsistencies in a confession tape in a high intense environment somehow means you did not commit the crime, when the physical evidence, where there is some physical evidence that puts you at the crime scene?
Right, because what and by the way, I'm not saying that it absolves you of guilt. What I'm saying is that, just as I said before, justice is what we're looking for. It has to be based off of factual information. If there's inconsistencies and there's 30 boys there, and just because one person says something does not mean that we take that one thing because it sounds right. Michael Briscoe was also a person who was implicated in it, who beat the shit out of people, and they said he had a pipe.
He had a branch, actually.
Okay.
So, because there was a branch and a pipe.
That's incorrect because they said
that is not incorrect.
It is. They said Stephen Lopez, Raymond Santana, and Kevin Richardson were the ones who had the branch.
That is not incorrect. That
Okay.
is not incorrect because if you watch the tapes, you could see some say branch and most of them say pipe. So there were at least two
They say
weapons
both.
involved, along with the knives, along with the butcher knife that Yusuf Salam had, along with the star, the ninja star that Yusuf Salam had. So sitting here acting like because somebody made an inconsistent statement that somehow absolves them of quote unquote justice. If you're seeking justice, you can parse things out and understand where to take the story, and then understand that you're not going to get perfect testimony from them in an interrogation room. And like I said before, all of this could have been avoided had they just shut up. That is your constitutional right to shut up. And so once you're read your Miranda rights, and this happens a lot in our community, where we sit here and we believe that because these people are law enforcement, that we have to do what they ask us. But once they read you your Miranda rights, no child of mine is going to talk. This is where the parenting piece comes into play. So if you haven't reared your kids to understand how to conduct themselves when they're being interrogated and inform them what their rights are, and that to shut up and call you, once you get there, you're not talking anymore. That's a parental thing. That's not a law enforcement thing. I yield my time.
All right. Um, y'all take a break for just a moment. I want to let everybody know thanks for joining Belinda's live, listening to these two guys debate. If you would gift the two people debating, gift the host. Don't worry about me. I don't care. I'm just happy to be here amongst all these all stars. So when you guys are ready for the second set of 5-minute rounds, let me know.
One second.
T-Bone, it'll be on you.
1 second
Sure.
before you start. I wanted to say everybody tap that screen, keep the live going, tap tap, and also I wanted to say at the end of this debate, if anyone wants to give 30 to 60 seconds opinion, I will open the boxes. I will only be letting one person up at a time. We will not be all dogpiling up in the live. The two debaters will remain in the live. You can give your opinion, but you only got 30 to 60 seconds, and I'm kicking you out. There will be no monologuing. Go ahead. Sorry.
All
Okay,
right,
so
T-Bone, it's on you whenever you're ready.
before I get to that, we need to understand one thing. Right after here, it says you talked to the detective prior to, correct? Yes. She does not ask him if his rights were read. And that's because, as I stated before, we know that there was a 30-hour time frame that took place in between when they were arrested and when these videos were given. We need to stop pushing off this damn narrative that these detectives were the upright citizens who just came in there and put on the videotape and asked them what happened, and they told them everything that they wanted to know. Speaking of confessions wise, I need you to tell me why Antron McCrae does not implicate Corey Wise there, why Kevin Richardson does not say that Youssef was there, and why at the bottom of this, Corey Wise, excuse me, does not say that Clarence was there.
So
If
now
what
we're
you're
gonna
saying is, yeah, go ahead.
so now we're gonna sit here and act like these boys didn't also lie and were caught in lies. We're gonna sit here and act like that.
No, no, no.
No.
Okay, let's take it back a
So
step.
when
Hold on. Let's take it back a step because now you're gaslighting the shit out of me. Do you believe that these boys were
I'm not
trying to
allowed to
save their
finish
own ass?
answering anything, so yeah, just because I say something you don't like doesn't mean it's
No,
not
it's
going
because
the
you're
way
not
you want it to
answering
go.
my question, bro, and you're
Okay,
doing it
well
purposely.
I hereby don't want to answer the question.
Great. I'm gonna ask you a different question. Do you think that these boys were just trying to save their own ass when giving the testimony?
No, these boys didn't understand their rights in that room.
I'm not asking about their rights. We're past that point. We know that they shouldn't have
We're not
talked.
past that point. That's exactly what happened in that room. That
Sir, you're not
repeat
answering my question.
repeat
Can
the question
someone
again,
please
please.
fucking mute him? Holy
Repeat
shit.
the
Please mute him because this isn't
repeat the
hard.
question again. Repeat the
Yes,
question
the
again.
question is, right? Do you
Hmm.
believe that these boys, when they were giving their testimony, were just trying to save their own ass?
That wasn't just what they were trying to do, but definitely when you don't implicate yourself and you do the bare minimum to try to remove you did the least in all of those moments. Yeah, you're trying to save your own ass because a
Great.
lot of them
So
did that. A lot of them did that.
Great. So if that's the case, and as we can see, Antron and Clarence were friends, then everybody would have been pointing the finger at everybody else. Stories should have been consistent, right? Because the only thing that would have been inconsistent was every single person saying, I was not there. So
Okay, so
now
did
we get into the second question that I'm asking you of why is it that one person says that Antron was there, another person says Yusef was not there, and another person says that Clarence was there? Why is there no consistency?
you have to ask them that? I don't have any proof that there was who was there and what was there and why they gave inconsistent statements. But I will say, you said Clarence and Antron McCray were friends. Yeah. So why did Clarence Thomas, when he was put in the back of the police car, burst into tears, tell the police officers that Antron McCray did it? He didn't commit the unaliving, and that
Hey,
it was
AJ,
Antron McCray, and I know where he lives.
AJ, hang on 1 second. So I paused T-Bone's time because this is his question time. If you
Hmm.
would, if you don't mind, save that question for your round.
Okay.
Okay. Again, I was actually going to bring up the Woods situation because there's two different times, right? One person actually, or actually multiple people stated that there were pipes and pieces of sticks that were there. And also they said that Stephen Lopez was the one who broke it at first. Then it went to Raymond. Then it was Antron. By the way, people gave that pipe to Antron afterwards. At least that's what supposedly happened. So we know that these things were passed around. Did anybody recover that pipe from the scene of the crime? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, so we don't have that pipe. Did anyone recover the stick?
No.
Of the rock that was used on Trisha Melly, did it have any fingerprints whatsoever?
No.
Okay, now here comes another question. So now that we got past that, the rock that was used, that they used for the DNA, because they said that they grabbed her hair, you stating that this was new technology does not mean that that technology was not consistent. It's 99% effective. We're just talking about individuals having access to this new technology. That doesn't mean that the technology was not valid in any way, shape, or form. So when the DNA comes back and it states that these boys did not have anything to do with this, why then are people like you and Charlie Kirk bonehead ass still walking around here saying that these boys did this?
What DNA? What DNA? You got to get specific.
They grabbed the hair of the individual and they ordered Antron McCray.
Was
Go
was
ahead.
her hair not, was her hair not found in Kevin Richardson's underwear?
No.
Yes, it was.
Okay, can you show me that?
Got 1 minute.
I guess you'll have to show me that after, but no, that's
Yes, I
not the
could. I
case.
could
They also
definitely show you
showed
the
about the
diagram
blood.
where it says there was. Yeah. So Antron McCray. I mean, not Antron McCray. Her her hair was found in his underwear along with fresh semen, his own semen,
Okay.
which means he
So
was recently excited. So
okay, we'll have
there's that.
yeah, we'll have to take a look at that. The second thing that we have to look at, and I'll actually that after this, hopefully we have time for that. But from my knowledge, the hair that was used was actually on the rock that they said was similar to Kevin Richardson's, right? So that's what ended up happening with that situation.
Yeah, that's two
All
different
right,
instances. That's not the same instance.
hold on, give me a sec. Yo. Yeah. I'll be in there in just a second, man. All right. How much time do I have left, MJ?
10 seconds.
Okay, I'll pass it off then.
Hold on 1 second. I lost where I was in this. Uh, hold. Where did I put that damn question? I'm sorry. 1 second, please.
Yeah, it's going to start on you.
Okay. Well, we're lost. Okay. Well, we'll start with the question that I was trying to ask during your time. So let's go to Clarence Thomas. So you said him and Antron McCray were friends. So if they were friends, how great of friends are you if you get put in the back of a police car, burst into tears, and then implicate your quote friend in the unaliving? Because at that time they didn't know if John Lachlan and Patricia Miley were still alive. They knew that they were beat up enough to probably not be alive. But why would that happen if they were such great friends?
We don't know if he said her or him, so that could be answering to a different jogger that they were talking about. Second of
Hmm.
all, that doesn't mean anything because unless you're stating that these individuals couldn't have been friends because he wanted to rat out his own friend from the crime that he did, which wouldn't be true. But
Well, that would actually be quite true, wouldn't it? You know, basically, if you watched a lot of these confession tapes, like I said when I answered your question, they did a lot to relieve themselves from the actual dirty work. So they did the minimal, which usually happens a lot in interrogation rooms, where you do the least, but everyone else does the dirty work. So that's a part of that as well. So to sit here and say that inconsistent statements means that they somehow were just these innocent boys who all told the truth and that they're perfect little individuals, and that all these stories being inconsistent is because these angels just fell from heaven and told the truth and the big bad police took them down. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. These boys did what they did, and they got lucky for the most part. I cannot find this question. This is so annoying.
can you pause this time, Jay, so you can find it?
Thank you.
Sure.
Well, okay, whatever. I don't care. Let's talk about the jury. So when the jurors made their decisions and they talked to the public, did they say that they based a lot of their that they based their decision on the physical evidence or the tapes? Like the bulk of their decision was based on what?
I'm not sure. Tell me.
The physical evidence. So they said even without the confession tapes, they would have still voted to convict. So that right there tells you that there was enough physical evidence to convict, even without the tapes.
No, if I'm responding to that, no, because again, those same items that you said were used in the beating of Trisha Miley were not found. The DNA on the rock, no fingerprints. So, what physical
So
evidence was?
because of, okay, I got you. Well, I'm not answering questions right now.
It was more
Um,
rhetorical. My bad.
oh, okay, got you. So let's talk about the blood stain on Santana's right sneaker, Yusuf Salam's jacket, Stephen Lopez's underwear. Let's talk about the semen stains in McCrae's underwear, Richardson's underwear, Santana's sweatshirt, the hair consistent with Patricia Miley and Richardson's underwear, and Lopez's clothing. The soil samples that were taken from the Central Park that are consistent with the soil found on Miley, McCrae, Santana, and Richardson. How do you explain that if they weren't there? If they're these innocent little boys just skipping flatties in the park?
Absolutely. I am not stating that these boys were innocent of being in the park. We know that they were in the park. What I'm saying is that they did not participate in this crime.
So what about the other crimes? Did they
Which
not
other
participate?
crimes?
The, John Laughlin. Did they not beat John Laughlin, or did someone else do that?
Again, there's
What,
inconsistencies with that because Kevin Richardson says that he didn't do it. So does Corey Wise until towards the end.
okay, inconsistencies does not mean innocent. So so I'm trying to understand why you think they were in the park.
Because a group of 30 of them, and most of them were older, like Michael Briscoe, Jermaine Robertson, right? The 16, 17-year-olds
Yeah.
from the
One
block.
minute.
So they just followed them.
So they just followed them. Who,
Yes.
okay, so based on most of the boys' statement, who was the ringleader?
Raymond Santana.
Okay, so Raymond Santana was one of the youngest, wasn't he?
Correct.
And did Raymond Santana not say in an interview in recent years that he was the one following the older boys?
He did say that.
So if he's a known liar and he lied a lot in his own confession tape and they caught him in lies and he had to retract some of his statements. So if he's a known liar, why are you sitting here defending him?
That, I don't want to be an asshole when I say this, right? Because again, there's going to be testimony that is given from him. And if we're saying that he's a liar there, I would also have to say that he's a liar in the confessions that he gave about what he quote unquote did to Trisha Miley.
All right, time's up.
Okay.
All right, so we're now ready for closing arguments. You got 5 minutes each. T-Bone, gonna begin with you. Clock will start on you.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this debate, I have been able to show you that these boys were innocent of the specific crime of raping Trisha Miley. If we want to talk about these other crimes, I still don't think that there was enough evidence to convict these boys of anything. That's neither here nor there. I was able to show you coercion through the Kevin Richardson situations before and after pictures, through Corey Wise being taken to the scene and shown the crime scene of what took place. I was able to tell you that the detectives were sloppy in their work and that the only thing that they cared about was getting a confession from these boys. I stated it before and I'll state it again. After Elizabeth Warner got these individuals to say something, she finished it by saying, "I have no further questions. This interview is concluded." She didn't care about the facts. She didn't care about the consistencies. She didn't care about getting down to what actually happened to Trisha Miley. The only thing that she cared about was getting these boys to confess at any point in time that they did this said thing. We even had prosecutors that went as far as to try to say that this was racially motivated and brought somebody up to the stand to say that they gave a racial epithet to one of the boys, and that's why they were beaten. This prosecution team was piss poor. Not only were they piss poor, but they coerced these individuals, which I was shown before. The DNA was ordered by the court for all of these boys that were implicated on this. Not just Kevin, not just Antron, not just Yusuf. Michael Briscoe, Jermaine Robinson, Steve Lopez, Clarence Thomas were all ordered to give their DNA. The chances that the DNA would come back as negative for every single one of the boys that were convicted in 1990 is absolutely absurd. There's no way that DNA would have came back and said that they did not do something, and they have loads of DNA testing that they are doing. They have the samples from Trisha Miley. They have the samples from the crime scene. They have the samples from the boys indefinitely, and not a single one came back to them. DNA has come back from Mateus Reyes. It is stated that he was the one who did this before that DNA test came out. When the DNA came out, it was a match. You now have to ask yourself this question, because AJ just stated before that we're talking about individuals being liars. Why is it that the testimony that was given was not consistent? We see these individuals saying Clarence was there and then Yusuf was there. Okay, Antron had a pipe, but that guy had a stick. There's not a single bit of consistency. I implore every single one of you to go watch the 10 plus hours. Go watch the 10 plus hours of interviews between not just the five boys, but include the individuals like Antonio, Lamont, Clarence, involve everybody in your research. Because the question that you have to ask yourself, if one person is giving testimony that states, "I did this and I did this alone. Not only did I do this one alone, but I've done 6 others alone." He literally has the name as the East Side Slasher for the amount of grapes that he committed on individuals. If he is telling you that he did this, and his confession is consistent, and his DNA comes back and it's a match, and then you ask the boys, and the boys say, "I have no idea what happened," and then they are coerced, and then they come out to say, "Listen, we were coerced, we have no idea what happened to her, we were not involved." The DNA comes out, and it's not a match. Why would you not trust the testimony of the person who told you that he fucking did it? And the person who has a consistency of doing these said things. This is absolutely bullshit. What it is, as I stated before, is it is a piss poor job from the prosecution team. It is trying to give us this facade to the community that the detectives, the police officers, and your friendly neighborhood 911 call is doing their job. That's what
1
happened.
minute.
Got you. That's what happened. What happened was they tried to give off a false narrative that everything was taken care of and used the quickest thing possible to put these boys at the crime scene and make sure that they were found guilty for the crimes that they committed. So all in all, what we should be looking at and what you all should be looking at, and I implore you all to do this, is to go back, watch the testimony yourselves, watch whose DNA comes back as positive, and then draw the conclusion yourself of who was the individual that was guilty of this crime. The 5 boys whose DNA did not match the one individual who has a history of this. Thank you.
All right. AJ, your 5 minutes starts on you.
You're muted, AJ.
Okay, I would like to conclude with let's start off by acknowledging the Central Park victims, the people who entered Central Park on Wednesday, April 19th, 1989, and their lives were never the same. David Lewis was attacked and robbed. Rob Garner was assaulted. David Good was assaulted. Michael Vigna was heckled and punched. Gerald Malone and Patricia Dean were heckled, and Dean was groped several times. Rocks were hurled at a taxicab. Antonio Diaz was a homeless man that many of the boys referred to as the bum in their confession tapes and statements. He was knocked to the ground, and his bag of food and bottle of beer was stolen. John Laughlin was jogging in the park when he was viciously attacked. Stephen Lopez described what he was wearing and what happened. Raymond Santana confessed to helping beat Laughlin up. Lopez, Richardson, Thomas confirmed a pipe of some sort wrapped in black tape was used to assault Laughlin. A police officer testified that Laughlin was beaten so badly that it looked like his head had been dunked in a bucket of blood. Now let's get to Patricia Miley. She had severe hypothermia, severe brain damage, severe hemorrhagic shock, lost 70 to 80% of her blood, and had internal bleeding. Her skull had been fractured so badly that her left eye was dislodged from its socket, which in turn was fractured in 21 places. The force of the blow to her head was so strong that her eyeball had exploded into the thin plates of her orbital floor. Miley was so badly injured that she was in a coma for 12 days. Now let's factor in her being raped, sodomized, and fondled. She testified at both trials and was verbally attacked in the hallways of the courthouse and viciously cross-examined in the second trial by a defense attorney for Corey Wise. Let's keep in mind that just over a year before, she survived the unthinkable, and here she is being treated like a perpetrator at their trial. These boys entered Central Park on the evening of Wednesday, April 19th, to be a menace to society. It came out of their own mouths. We went to the park to go wilding. This wasn't the first time we did it. Not only made a point to break the law, but to affirm many ravaged stereotypes about people who look like us. The evidence is clear. The confessions were valid, and the law made corrections where it saw fit. To use the color of your skin to secure a financial payout for crimes you did commit is in fact proof that the favor of public opinion isn't always good. And to add insult to injury, there's a gate in Central Park called the Gate of the Exonerated. Yet, there's no dedication in Central Park to Patricia Miley. Race should have never played a role in this trial. These boys were no victims. They were monsters on a mission to inflict pain and suffering on unsuspecting New Yorkers. Protecting criminality and the most degenerate amongst us makes us weak as a people. The Central Park Five is symbolic of a greater issue in our society, where we have become accustomed to making martyrs out of perpetrators. We see this with the likes of O.J. Simpson, Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, Woody Allen, R. Kelly, and most recently Diddy. We cry racism to evoke emotionalism. We
1
disregard the
minute.
law and the impact it has. To the 10 victims of the Central Park Five, I hope I've done you justice today. And I yield my time.
Good job. Both of you did great. Belinda,
Yep.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
T-Bone, AJ, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys letting me do this for you.
Thank you, MJ.
Again,
Appreciate you.
both of you did great. Absolutely.
Let's
Okay, so I
go.
opened up the boxes. I hope everyone can see them. I will let one person up at a time. You get 30 to 60 seconds, and then you will be dropped. You can either make a statement or ask a question.
I'm going to probably make a statement more than anything. First of all, good job, AJ. I just did a search real quick on Central Park 5 victim now. You know what all the search engine pulled up? The Central Park 5. No mention of Patricia Miley. And this is the problem I have. There was one victim during this whole thing what we was talking about. Well, the main victim that should be talked about, and that was Patricia Miley. But no, what we're going to do, we're going to use these 5 thugs as a beacon of light for what a flawed justice system. Now, mistakes were made on both sides. I will give you that. And I think the only reason why Central Park 5 can evoke so much emotion is because NYPD are notorious for doing some.
Whoa, where'd he go?
Really?
Where'd he go?
I don't know.
It didn't show. He was on my end, he was buffering the whole time, but I could hear him.
Yeah,
He
that's
probably
strange.
didn't load in correctly then. Are me and AJ able to respond to the things people say, by the way? Okay.
Where is Prince? 'Cause, I want him to I want him to finish before I let anyone else up. No, I don't think it was a mod. He was buffering the whole time. I could hear him, but it was the 2 little dots the whole time. You know what? I will let Baxter up next. And then the next person when Prince is able. Okay, Baxter. Go ahead, Baxter.
Thank you for allowing me up. I just want to say, AJ, that's my main man. I ain't never seen a debate like that. He hit the hammer right on the nail. That's all I got to say. My nigga. Woo! I can't
Thank you.
believe it.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing me up. You can go ahead and drop me off now.
Thank you. Okay, next person. Shit show news.
I want to say is good job, Tbone. As for you, AJ, you brought up DNA, and if you actually did your research, you'll see that DNA during 1969 was unreliable as well during that time. Also, if you were to search the New York law during that as well, it is highly encouraged to
Excuse me,
have
I don't
a
mean to.
lawyer and
No,
a
shit show,
or a
shit
parent.
show, shit show. Hold on. Did you say 69?
I mean, A6. Sorry, A6.
Okay,
Sorry,
go ahead.
I don't know why I
Actually,
said 69. Sorry,
actually,
A6.
go ahead.
And also during that time, even in New York law, it is highly encouraged to have a parent or a lawyer present in with minors as well. And so, yeah, if you did in your research.
Hmm. So if people were listening to me when I was speaking, I was very specific about the type of DNA they needed at that time, right? So, and I did mention that it was a new technology. It was a new science. So it literally had been in the United States for 2 years.
Yeah,
And
so it was
the type
unreliable.
and so, well, if it was so unreliable, why did T-Bone use it as the crux of his argument? Okay, moving on. So,
Okay, just before you answer,
hold on.
AJ, I dropped
Uh-huh.
him, but you can go ahead and answer.
Okay, so I made it very clear that what we needed, which advanced into the late 90s, was trace evidence DNA, right? Meaning because the blood speckles were so small, today we take it for granted. But then they couldn't test blood droplets that small. So it had nothing to do with, I said what I said, it wasn't the crux of my argument. I made it clear that it was a very flawed and new science. So therefore, you're not going to sit there and rely 100% on it. Also, you had to over explain it back then because it was still new to the general population as well. So you had to really over explain it. A big example of over explaining DNA is the O.J. Simpson case. Like if the prosecution had spent less time trying to explain DNA, then we probably would have got somewhere with that case.
Okay.
They collected their blood, they collected hair, they collected the semen, and you're telling me of all of those things that were collected, not one came back as being
The
positive?
only thing
You
that
said
came back, the only thing that came back to Mateus Reyes was the sperm.
yes.
That's it. So you're sitting here acting like all of the DNA, all of the specimens they collected went back to Mateus Reyes. You're solely talking about the sperm, which is misleading because when you say, well, the DNA, Mateus Reyes, you make it seem like it's the blood and the hair.
No. The blood in the hair, I'm specifically talking about the boys. They only collected the semen for Mateus Reyes because that's all that they
Yeah, but
needed.
you could collect Mateus Reyes' blood and match it to the semen. It don't matter. It's gonna match.
Hey, but that's why. Okay, never mind. Go ahead. I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying, but you're trying to link all the specimens collected to just the sperm.
No, what I'm saying is of those three different things that they got right from those boys, which they were ordered by the court. What the fuck? Give me a second, y'all.
Hmm.
Go ahead, eh?
So they were subpoenaed to give their DNA. I don't know if that's a thing. Can you be subpoenaed to give your DNA? I don't know. Legal people. I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing.
Okay, so we can go back to that. Did you want to say something? You got 36.
Yeah, I just wanted to come up and say that both you guys did a really good job articulating your arguments, but my hat has to go off to AJ. You did an extremely well job. You not only honored the victims in your statements, you presented multiple pieces of evidence, and just the way you articulated your argument. Hats off to you, man. You clearly did your research and you clearly looked into it full through and through. Those boys were definitely guilty, and they got what they had coming to them. So, congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.
While she's
Bless.
dropping down, I'm gonna finish what I was saying. The three different ways that they collected evidence on those boys, and not a single one matched. If you have three different ways that you could collect that evidence, and not a single one
Again,
matches, there's a problem.
but none. The blood did not go back to Mateus Reyes. The blood was inconclusive because of the technology. The hair did not go back to they couldn't pin the hair on the boys either, or Mateus Reyes. So I'm just trying. What I'm trying to get across to you is how you're presenting the argument. You're presenting the argument like everything they found went to Mateus Reyes, and that's inaccurate. That's all I'm trying to say. We
That's not what
agree.
I'm
We
saying.
agree that the sperm was his. You can't deny that. We agree on that.
That's not what I'm saying. But go ahead.
Okay, Jay Lee, go ahead.
Yeah, question for Tbone. You said that the DNA compiling methodologies was very inaccurate and unreliable, but then in your closing statement that you said that they were. So can you clarify your position, please?
Yes, the DNA testing of Mateus Reyes came back to him being positive. Of the boys, they did not. So I'm asking, who do you find to be more reliable? The person that says that they did it alone and the DNA came back as positive for him, or the people who said they did not do it and the DNA came back that they did not, that it was not a match? That's the question that I'm asking you all.
But
And
you
I think,
stated that the DNA compiling data was, or the methods on which the DNA was collected was inaccurate. But then in your closing statement, you said that blanket DNA collecting evidence methodologies were accurate.
That's not what I said. I didn't say that the way that they collected it was inaccurate.
No, the methodology you said the technology was not accurate, but then in your closing statement that it was.
No, that's not what I said. I
Are
don't
you
think you
sure?
heard it. Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Jay Lee. Okay, next person. I'm gonna bring Prince back up because he was cut off somehow. Hopefully he loads this time. There he
Is
goes.
he
Loaded.
loaded?
Yep.
Okay.
Don't be talking about my Wi-Fi that's racist. Listen, I had a whole spiel for Tbone, but I'm gonna spend the rest of my time talking to that shit show. If you gonna come up here and you gonna disrespect all the work that my homie put in and even T-Bone put in this argument just because you want to be emotional fruit, you deal with me. See, this is exactly what AJ meant when he said we're cheering on the degeneracy and the low bottom of our, and I mean low bottom of our community. The reason why you're riding so high for T-Bone is because that those five clowns, those five thugs were convicted and you're mad about it and you want to stick it to the system. You want to stick it to the man. No, stick it up your ass. Your name is shit show because that's the only thing that comes out of your mouth and that's the only thing that leaves out of your anus. Now, if you're going to get up here, you totally just ruined the whole moment. Both of these brothers prepared well and they made great arguments and you just came up here just to talk shit. And I find it mighty funny. Even T-Bone recognized how both sides have an agenda in this, and they're trying to make both of their sides look good. What did you do? You came up here, you did exactly what T-Bone said we're not supposed to do. And that is be one-sided. Just stick to the facts and leave everything else out. Just like you should leave everything else out your ass. I'm out. I yield my time. Is that what smart people say? Yield my time?
Thank you, Prince.
Goodness.
Bottom of the barrel of our community. You were one of those individuals with biases I was talking about, sir. Just want to point that out.
All right, I dropped Prince. So I got exactly what he was saying. He was giving you credit too, T-Bone, and that was bullshit of that person to come up here after all the work that you put in and AJ put in for this debate, all the studying, all the background work that you did. That's what he was saying. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Full Service. Glenn.
What's up, everybody? Listen, let me just go ahead and get on this. The reason why the DNA that was collected was inaccurate is because she was found in a ravine hours later. Everything that was on her body, in her hair, everything else was corrupted. The reason why they were actually able to get DNA off the sock is because the sock was found literally feet away from her. Y'all know that, right?
I
Not
forgot
to
to bring that up.
mention,
That was
not
my
to
bad.
mention, her cousin is the one who turned. The dude's cousin is the one who turned him in because he confessed to her. But that's it. That's all I had to say, y'all. Y'all did a really good job, and I can tell both of y'all really did your research on this one.
Okay, before he drops, whose cousin turned who in?
I want to say it was. I want to say it was Yusuf Salam. His female cousin actually turned him in because she thought that if she did turn him in, then he would get a more lenient sentence.
I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
see.
you're gonna have to go look it up. I already.
And nothing's ever showed me that.
Yeah, but that is actually true because once they realized that the DNA wasn't going to hold up because they weren't able to get a good sample, they had to do legwork, including word of mouth. That's actually how they came to the five. The what was it, over 50 kids all pointed to those five specifically.
Do
Now
you have
that's
source on
that's
this
not
one?
true.
That's
That's not
actually true. Like,
true.
yeah,
Fair.
that's one thing you'll never be able to say to me. I've done this for a while. So you need to go read the court cases themselves.
You stating that 50 people pointed in.
Sir,
It
sir,
was
listen, if you
it
want to
was
go look, if you would like me to send it to you, all you got to do is ask, but don't ever say that I'm being inaccurate.
it was 30. It
Okay.
was 37 boys, but yeah, I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. Most of them pointed at those five.
Yes.
Well, six.
That's how they came
At
to
those
those five.
six. Those six.
Six, technically, yes.
Because
Steve
we
Lopez.
always leave Stephen Lopez out of this. I don't know
I don't know
why,
why we
but
always leave out Steve Lopez.
because he took the plea deal.
Oh, yeah. He said, skip that. They did it. Let's go.
He has
All right,
smart
y'all.
attorneys, and he knew when to shut up.
Thank you, Glenn.
See you guys.
Thank you. Peace out.
Okay, next person. OG Unk is coming up. Let me make sure he loads because right now.
I've been waiting for this one.
Okay, there you go. You're loaded.
Hats off and props to both of y'all. AJ, absolute technician. Um, I will say that the route that T-Bone chose had me reaching for my computer more, which I'm going to end up doing after this. I ended up having to take notes so that I know what I want to look into afterwards. But hats off to both y'all. I don't know if I can give either one of y'all the win, or I don't even know if necessarily a win is the absolute goal. But y'all did inspire some cats to think. So again, hats off to both of y'all. Kudos.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Also, Jen, if you're still in here, can you do the poll? Smiley face, AJ won. Sad face, T-Bone won. If you could make it for 5 minutes. Okay, go ahead, Angel.
So good job, T-Bone. I know you've been trying to debate this for a minute with a bunch of different people. I'm never going to bring it up to that these boys weren't somehow skewed of being convicted of grape, right? I'm going to read something from the motion to vacate conviction and judgment. Okay, line 17. In sum, there was a significant there was no significant evidence at trial establishing the defendant's involvement in the other crimes, right, of which they stand convicted, that would not have been substantially and fatally weakened by the newly discovered evidence in this matter. In the original investigations, a number of individuals identified one or more of the defendants, Richardson, McCrae, Santana, and Salam, in connection with the attack on John Laughlin, and statements also placed Wise at the scene of earlier incidents, right? The claim is that Donald Trump is a racist because he helped five young minority black, because remember Raymond Santana is Puerto Rican and Dominican, one or the other, right? Of being convicted because of his ad. This is the whole biggest thing of why we went down this rabbit hole, right? And they had eyewitness testimony. Julian, calm down for a second, bud. They had eyewitness testimony, right, of these boys doing something other than what they claimed of grape, right? These were not innocent boys like the Netflix documentary claimed these boys to be, going into the park to do fun shit. They went there to cause mayhem. And if you look at the other videos, they claimed that a carnival, just I think a short month before that, Raymond Santana had stabbed one of the carnival workers there, okay, while they were wilding out there too. These were not innocent young men. These were thugs who were hanging around the city, acting like a bunch of fools, right? Got caught out there and then wanted to cry when they got caught out there because they were convicted of something that they didn't do. But then again, who knows, right? Because while you sat there and said Corey Wise was taken to the scene, they found out about the jogger because of those boys. They didn't find that jogger beforehand. They found that jogger after the boys had talked about her. Like, and see, and that's the stuff that kills me right there, right? Because this whole thing was that Donald Trump is a racist, and this is why. This is why when you said Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump said they were guilty because they were guilty of something, right? Regardless of what it was, they were still guilty, right? And convicted on crimes other than the grape. And I yield.
Thank you, Angel.
Yeah, I there was so much to that. There's a lot here. It takes way more than 10 minutes, even 20 minutes, to try to explain everything. But yeah, I could have talked about Corey Wise talking. He was talking his ass off. He was yapping in the hood. And then when they went to canvass the neighborhood to talk to people who might be their friends, they spoke to two boys, one named Shabazz Head on and Ronald Williams. And they both pretty much said the same thing on two different days, because they interviewed Ronald Williams on April 27th and they interviewed Shabazz Head on April 28th. So they literally almost pretty much said line by line the exact same thing that he said. Yes, stay away from me. The cops are looking for me. And he was like, you see that thing on the news with the jogger? Yeah, I was part of that, but I didn't grape her. I held her leg. He literally said that. And then we have a call from the jailhouse with Melody Jackson, who is the sister of one of his friends, Why would you say this on a jailhouse call? I don't know why, but he said he didn't grape her. He didn't grape her. He said that several times. He said the only thing I did was held her legs. These are his words. These aren't someone made up. These are his. He wasn't in an interrogation room in that moment. But innocent, sweet black boy rolling over.
You want the big
She.
box, T-Bone?
Oh
Yes,
yes, thank
no,
you.
I'm
Bring
good.
it up. Bring it up.
Yeah,
And she
I'm good.
and she testified to this in the trial.
So this is based off of testifying. We didn't see anything come out of there, which, by the way, Rikers Island records all of their
That's
calls.
a lie.
So I
That is a
wanted to
lie.
know
That
why.
is a lie. They
What
did
they
find out
do,
that call. They did find out that call did happen. Stop lying.
right? Yeah, and hold on, I'm trying to figure out where that call is because I can't find it. It wasn't
That's the
released in
call right
files.
there. That's
No,
literally
no, no, it isn't. No, no, put me
that's
back
not the
up here.
call. That's not no. I know what you're. That's not the call itself. That's her testifying to what the call was. So
Right. So
yes,
I'm saying if what you're saying is true, which even if it is, it doesn't matter. But like, where is this
why
call? That's
doesn't it
number
matter?
one. And
Why
number two,
why would it not matter? Why would it not matter?
because he had already stated this in the testimony, anyways. He said this on the second
Coerced.
testimony he gave.
Position where you're not being coerced and you're still being coerced.
No, no. The second time,
Yes.
he, sir, he was coerced. What are we talking about?
My gosh.
But look,
Wait.
he
So
didn't.
I'm in
Hold
a
on, hold on.
position. So I'm in a position right now where no one's around me, no one's in my face, saying, "Hey, you did this," and I'm talking about doing it.
Wait. Oh, okay. Now I get what you're saying. You're saying he wasn't coerced in the phone call or the first video
If you're in a place where you're not being coerced, why are you saying why are you implicating yourself?
because he's keeping up the story
Oh
so that
my
he can get the
gosh.
time off.
Oh
What?
my
What are we
gosh.
talking about?
Oh my gosh. Who does
Why do
that?
you think? Wait. Why do
Who
you think
does
Melody
that?
Jackson went and said this?
Does, oh, Melody,
If
she
that's her
had a
friend,
vendetta. She had a vendetta. That wasn't her friend. That was her brother's. Her brother was his friend.
right?
Okay,
And I'm saying, why would she go and do this?
okay, real quick, T-Bone, before you go any
I'm sorry.
further. There is a poll up, everybody. It's up in the upper left-hand corner. Please take the poll. Also, T-Bone, if you want to turn your camera off now, you can. You don't have to keep it on. The debate's over, and Officer Real Talk is in the box, but he's oh, there he goes. You got 30 to 60 seconds, officer.
Yeah, I'll just wait until they had settled their thing. I think for me the biggest issue, even if I'm not aware of this phone call from prison, but even if it did happen, it should have been inadmissible because there's rules around interrogating children. So
He
below like
wasn't
the
a
age of an
child.
adult,
He wasn't a
hold
child. And according to the law in the state of New York, he's an adult. That's why he was tried as one and convicted as one.
all of the Central Park Five were adults.
No, Corey Wise. He was the only one that was tried as an adult and convicted as an
But
adult.
but but AJ, you're not acknowledging that there was still testimony that were given to these police officers prior to their parents being there. They
Right.
were talking to police before their
Where?
parents were there.
Show me the transcripts of these conversations.
I just
Cor-
gave you one
Corey
in the
Wise was how
debate.
old?
No. You said he was 16. You said that it happened. You didn't show that it happened.
Hold on.
You said that.
This is on that same website that you referenced. This is the testimony of Kevin Richardson right here.
Yes. So show me
Okay, so
where.
I
So
what are we
show me
talking
where he
about?
was
I
coerced.
I
Wait,
wanted to check.
obviously
I
I'm not.
wanted to check
Come
really.
on,
I want
bro.
to check
That's
really
understandable.
quick. I want to check really
Agent,
quick. So in
you
18.
got
So
the
in so
statement.
in
State of New York, you
so
can
so
be.
it, so in nine
Well,
so in 1989, the age of an adult in New York City was 18 years old. You
yeah,
said that Corey Weiss was 16. That makes him a juvenile.
yes, but according to
The right. The Supreme Court, even since I think 1980, has held that you can interrogate juveniles as long as they're underneath Miranda. However, and without a parent or DJO, which is Deputy Juvenile Officer, and this holds even to today, the age of the person must be considered versus the length of an interview. Corey Weiss was interviewed for roughly 7 hours.
well, if Corey Rise was raised better, he would have shut the hell up.
That's not a counter to what I'm
But
saying.
that's
That is a counterpoint. That is a
No, it's not.
counterpoint.
That's
That
not
is a
no.
counterpoint. You
I
not
mean,
knowing your
maybe if
rights
we're
is
gonna
not the
meme,
fault of law enforcement. It's not their fault.
maybe if we're going to meme at each other, yes.
Not knowing your rights is not the fault
It's
of
not
law
about
enforcement.
him knowing. Are you letting me
Did
talk,
he
AJ, or do you
did
want
he
to
know
talk with
his
a
rights?
Hold
meme?
on, hold on, everybody
He
relax. Hold on,
clearly did
Dude,
know his rights.
officer, you asked.
I'm just
And
trying
and
to talk
how
so I can get off
is
the
this
stage.
30 seconds over? How long is this damn
Yes,
Well,
that's
you've
all it is.
conversation?
interrupted
Hold
me
on,
every
hold
second I've
on,
I
spoken.
interrupted you well after 30 seconds.
hold on. Okay, so officer, you asked your question. I'm going to drop you, and then AJ can answer. Okay, that way there's no over talking. Okay, go ahead, AJ.
Fucking dummy knew his damn rights. He would have shut the fuck up when he was brought in. Period. I made that clear twice in this damn debate.
It wouldn't matter because even in that
It would have
testimony,
mattered. You know what would have mattered? If they had shut up, they wouldn't have been convicted.
okay, can I respond now? It wouldn't have mattered because number one, in the first testimony that Kevin Richardson gave, he never stated that he did anything. So that confession wouldn't have mattered regardless.
Richardson
Second of
literally
all,
broke the
yeah,
case. It was
chill.
Corey Wise and Kevin Richardson broke the case.
How
Without
did Kevin?
them, they didn't even know there was a jogger until they brought it up.
Yes, the fuck
No,
they
they
did. What
did
are you
not know.
talking
They
about?
did not know there was a
Holy shit.
female jogger.
Let me go pull this up so you can see
Literally,
this is
the
fucking crazy.
testimony of Officer Eric Reynolds
Uh-huh.
literally states we didn't even know about the female jogger. She was found at 1 o'clock in the fucking morning.
Yeah, this is interesting. So let's go back here because this was the person. Can you put me on big screen, please, for this one? This is Robert Gardner. Robert Gardner was the individual who testified who said that he saw her. He made the fucking calls, dude. What are we talking about? He spoke to police. So they definitely knew
What
about
time?
this jogger
What time?
prior to
What
them getting
time?
to the precinct.
What
What
time? What
time?
time? What time was the call?
The first call would have been at 8:48.
The first call.
I'm
And what
sorry,
did he and
8:33 and then
and
8:48.
then what did he say at 8:33 on the first call?
We don't know. We don't have the
So
transcript.
you
We
don't
just
have a
know that that call
transcript,
was
but you want
made.
me to believe because a call was made that he said the jogger was?
Yes, I want you to believe that the
That's
man
not
who testified. No,
that's
no, wait, wait,
ridiculous.
wait, wait,
That's
wait, wait,
ridiculous.
wait.
That's ridiculous.
I want you.
No,
Hold
no, no,
on,
no,
just a
no.
second.
There
No,
should be a
let me
911
respond.
call and a
I
transcript
want you
attached.
to trust.
Where's the
I
911 call and the transcript attached?
Holy shit. Can I respond?
I want the
I
911
want
call
you to
with the
believe.
transcripts attached.
Okay. I want you to believe
I don't
that the
want to believe it.
person
I'm
who
not going to believe it.
testified. How is it that you get to speak and I don't? What I want is for you to believe the person who says that he saw the jogger prior to and got on the stand and testified that he made the fucking phone calls.
Oh,
That's what I want you to believe.
his testimony is Jesus, but Melody Jackson, fuck her.
Wait, hold on. Everybody else's testimony was also Jesus, right? But you don't have consistency with those. Yet
Isn't
somehow
that
these boys
funny?
are innocent of
Isn't
their
that
fucking
funny?
crimes, right,
Isn't
AJ?
that funny? Isn't that funny?
Are you gonna answer that question, AJ?
It's BS.
This is so fucking dishonest. It's not
It
even
is
funny,
not. You're
bro.
being
You're
dishonest.
embarrassing the shit out of
You're
yourself.
being
You're sitting.
dishonest.
No, fuck
You're
that.
sitting here
You're
being
sitting here
dishonest.
taking
No,
Robert
no,
Gardner's
you're not.
testimony as
You're
valid
right.
when he's on the stand, but when he's
Uh huh.
telling you that he saw the fucking jogger, now all of a sudden
Okay.
we can't trust
So
him. He goofy as
because he
hell.
saw the jogger. Okay, he saw the jogger. Okay. So
You
he saw
saw
the
the jogger
jogger.
in the
So
ravine?
he did.
No.
He
No.
literally stated that he saw the jogger
Yeah,
and
he
then
saw
went.
her jogging.
Holy fuck.
I cannot.
No,
I
he
think if
said
you
that he saw. Okay, let's go
okay, I'm
back to
not
that
arguing.
testimony.
I'm
This
not
is
arguing
fucking
that. I
dumb.
just came to say it's BS. AJ, it's BS. He knows what I'm talking about. Anyways, great job. What I will say though, next time, if you guys are going to do something this in depth, we're going to need some longer time blocks. And
I
because
agree.
I think that there's still a lot of information that didn't come out.
Yep.
And that's why we're having this back and forth even right now, is because there's still a lot of information that was not presented. And we've done a lot of research. We've done a special on this. We've read a lot of things. And so I think next time, if we're going to do something this in depth, that there needs to be more time. I'm not going to take anything away from you, Tbone, even though you irritate me. You did show up. I appreciate you showing up. I mean, I ain't going to say you dropped a bunch of facts, but you did open your mouth and speak. So
Okay.
that is something. I mean, I'm not saying that all of it was bad.
You did. You're
But
gaslighting to act like I didn't just show these things, but that's cool. Hey, her 30 seconds is up. You can
I
go ahead
didn't
and jump in.
gaslight you,
I want to
T-Bone.
go
I'm
ahead and
giving
read
you
this. Well, you
credit.
said that I opened my mouth and spoke. You disregarded every fucking piece of
No,
information that I
T-Bone,
put on the screen,
T-Bone,
but it's
T-Bone,
fine. Hey,
T-Bone,
cool.
T-Bone,
Nah, she
T-Bone,
can't come up
T-Bone.
here and disrespect. Yeah,
Hold
hold
on,
up. When
you're
my
trying.
people come up here, hold
T-Bone,
up. When
T-Bone,
my
hold
people, no,
on.
Belinda,
Oh
stop.
my God.
Hold on. Okay,
Belinda,
so
no,
hold
bro.
on.
When
She
my people
dropped.
come
Now
up
stop,
here
don't crash
and
out.
they are
Hold on.
disrespectful,
Hold
y'all
on.
drop them. But it
Okay.
can do the same thing, and she
Hold
can't get the same energy.
hold
Fuck that.
on. Can you calm down? You all you heard was that one thing that she said. You didn't hear the rest of what she said. She did say you dropped some knowledge. So you were too busy crashing out to hear the rest of what she said.
Belinda, please don't fucking gaslight me.
Bro, I
You
will
heard
download
that
the
woman say
live.
that
I will download
Belinda.
the live for you.
Yeah, go ahead and download the live so you can hear her say, well, he won't really drop in the facts, but he did open his mouth and speak. She said that
Then
shit.
she said it right after, but you were too busy
Great.
crashing out. She was just jeffing with you, man.
That's fine. And we can drop her ass because her 30 seconds was up.
She already dropped.
Great.
Relax.
Great. Mr. Gardner and two other men described how they were accosted one after the other a few minutes after the woman had been raped and left for unaliving. So please stop gaslighting me, bro.
Okay, so Tony, you 30, 60 seconds.
Got you. Appreciate it. Yo, well done to both of y'all. Good job. Bone, excellent job. Presenting evidence was demonstrated. Central Park 5 were victims of being falsely accused and convicted of a crime they didn't commit. They had their civil rights violated. Well done presenting that. AJ, also good job. You tried. You listed a lot of victims, but you didn't produce any evidence to tie the Central Park 5 to the victims you listed. It was an appeal to motion, but it didn't work. It was incomplete and irrelevant, but you did try. You also forgot to mention the Central Park 5 were victims themselves. They were children who had their civil rights violated. To the people who are saying that they're guilty of something, there is no legal statute of being guilty of something. You have to be guilty of a crime, and there has to be evidence that ties you to that crime. Without that, you're innocent. So don't tell me they're guilty of something. That don't work. Whoever said Yusuf Salam, his cousin turned him in, you full of shit. That never happened. You're making up shit. I don't even know why you would do that. Prince, by the way, you're a bitch. Don't come up here talking
Okay,
shit about people
we
that
can
don't even
drop him
talk
now. We
about
can
you.
drop him now. We can
Pinch,
drop him
you're a
now.
bitch,
We can
Prince.
drop him now. If you're gonna act like a monkey, get the fuck out the queue. Yell over you at this point.
Everybody needs to stop with the emotions. Hey, Prince. Welcome back.
Stop letting up orangutans. That's what you
I
need to
didn't even
stop
know
doing.
who he was, to be honest.
Wait, he gets to go. He gets to go twice because his 30 seconds was up. What happened?
He's
How he
Prince.
get
He can come up all the fucking times he wants.
Oh, okay. My people can come back up too.
Yeah, if
No,
they want.
we ain't
Oh, okay.
letting no more. We ain't letting no more thugs up here.
Okay, go ahead. Prince, are you
No
loaded?
more street demons up here. We're good. Let them go. Keep it real.
It's not showing him in the box, but is it showing Prince in the box for you guys?
He's up there, but
Okay,
he I couldn't hear him.
removed him because he was loaded, but he couldn't hear. So I'll bring up Tony while we get Prince back. Waiting for Prince.
Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, I just came up to say that I think both of you guys did a really good job. I like the format. I like the way that you guys were largely respectful. Uh, excuse me. Um, I don't really want to give a score on it anyway. I know everybody's like, team AJ or the team Tbone and all of that. I think this requires more time to go through everything. I think both of you presented a good case. And to be honest, I mean, I probably would lean a little bit more towards AJ for the win on this, but towards the end, I don't know. I felt like Tbone was kind of coming back, and I just have a lot more questions. So I appreciate both of you guys putting it out there, at least to encourage some of us to dig a little bit deeper. Oh, and last thing, T-Bone. The only thing I would say is that in your arguments, sometimes you make these leaps in logic you just got to be careful with that. But otherwise, I liked everything that I heard. All right,
Thank you,
peace.
Tony.
All right.
Okay, and before you speak, Prince, I wanted to let everybody know that Craziness of TikTok is uploading this live, this debate. So if anyone wants to go and watch it that didn't get to see it from the beginning, you can go to Craziness of TT on YouTube. Okay, go ahead, Prince. Is is Prince loading?
Something is going on.
I know because AJ just fell out of the box.
Yeah, it's like it's weird. Like it's dropping me, then it's bring. I'm gonna drop out, then I'll come back in,
I
Belinda.
hear you. I hear you, Prince.
No, it's not that. Hold on.
Everybody start tapping the screen because people are saying it's glitching. And I got full bars. I'm right by my Wi-Fi, so nobody can blame my Wi-Fi.
Probably people reporting as usual.
Okay, Prince is on mute.
Yeah, that Gerald Ford Wi-Fi.
You know what's funny? It's funny. It won't let me show that fucking mutant shit show fucking Sloth from the Goonies. It won't let me do the green screen of that raggedy faces. But let me tell y'all something. It's funny how y'all could get up here and say all this shit, but fuck that. No, Tbone didn't do a good job. That shit was ass. It was mega ass. It was trash. And he looked like a fucking Power Ranger, and it sucked. I can be petty too. Fuck the Central Park 5. They was all guilty. They was animals, and they should be in cages, and they should be in a fucking zoo. How about that? Fuck this. I'm tired of placating to this nigga. He sucked. His arguments sucked. He's super fucking emotional. The same way that fucking Goonie looking bitch shit show is emotional. Fuck them all. Peace out, bitch.
So we go ahead and drop him now. Right. When
Drop
I
these
first said,
nuts. I can stay up
yeah,
as long
cool.
as I
Can
want,
can
bitch.
we
I
can
got
we drop him,
mods in high
Belinda?
places.
Can
Fuck
we
off.
drop? Thank you. Yeah, so he was one of those individuals that I was talking about. When you go in as far as to talk about putting people in the cages, and let's be clear, you weren't just talking about the Central Park Five, right? Because AJ been sitting here talking about putting people like me in fucking cages and that we're animals and thugs, this, that, and the third. Let's just keep it clear, right? You have the same bias that I was talking about before. And you came up here and embarrassed
You were
yourself
being
by trying to
roasted.
see if
Stop being
hey,
emotional. I was
AJ,
roasting
relax,
you.
bro,
Stop being
relax.
emotional. I was
And you
roasting
came
you.
up
Stop
here and
being
you displayed
emotional.
that bias. Now, when we display those biases to have this type of tendency to want to defend these black individuals, you call us emotional, right? You say that we're arguing off of emotion, but you come up here and put up that same bias, and apparently we're not supposed to give you that smoke. Bullshit. If you hate motherfuckers, just say that shit, bro.
This goes back to my closing argument.
What part of the closing argument?
People set shit off, and then when they get hit back, it's like it's the person who hit them, not the shit that they did to set it off. Your people came up here fucking with
So
me
was it?
first,
So was it?
and you didn't course correct them. You let them talk their shit. I did
Well,
all
hold
this.
up. You had people coming up here coming at me
That
too, and y'all didn't say shit. So
first
now we
no
just said it, AJ.
that first
If this is how y'all wanted it to go, you should have
that
just said
first
that.
fat white boy that came up here and told me I needed to do my research when he clearly his slow fat ass didn't listen to my opening statement, because if he had listened to comprehend, he would have known what I said about DNA. Instead, he made a whole bunch of assumptions about what I said about the DNA and then made an ass of himself, because I literally went back to my statement and was like, I did not say it. I did not say that. And
It's a
I know
it's
what
a
I said
it's
in
a
my
she.
statement, and then I corrected him, and he's still in
It's
the
a
chat.
she.
He's still in
It's a
the chat
she.
talking about, I told him to do his research. And I told you what the
It's a
fuck I just
she.
said, which means you're incorrect. So what's
Okay,
next?
Caitlin is a she. I don't know where you got that guy from, but
Who's Caitlin?
the one that came up that he got frustrated with.
Said I need to do research.
That was a guy.
Yeah, hold on.
That wasn't a
Did you
woman.
want
That
me
was
to
a
say
dude.
something about that? Because you have people that came up here that said the same thing about me, AJ.
His
No, no,
What are
name
you
is
no,
talking
no, no,
about?
no. That was the first person. Again, like I said, set it off
Okay,
and then get mad when you get the clap back.
okay, got you.
I'm back, bitch. That was a man. That was a full fucking man. That's all. It was a man. It was a
Caitlyn is a
man. See,
woman.
that's your problem. You want to call
Caitlyn
that
is a
thing a girl?
woman.
That was a man. That was a
Are
man
y'all
with a little
dumb?
eye. It looked like a white Forrest Whitaker. That was a man. It looked like it wanted to
That's a
be a midget
woman.
and an adult at the same time. It was
That's
a
a woman who
man.
has
It was
medical
a
issues. What are
fucking
you?
man.
That's a woman with medical issues. What are you
I
talking
don't
about?
give a shit. She came up here and talked shit to my boy.
Okay, so
I
now
don't
it's a
give
she, but
a
before you said it
fuck.
was a man. Make up
I
your
don't
mind,
care.
Prince.
I don't
Is it a
care.
man or a
She,
woman? Figure
he,
it out.
they, I'm confused. They confused. Go away. Take a Elon spaceship to Uranus and take the fuck off.
Isn't Caitlyn Republican? Could have sworn she was Republican.
That doesn't matter. See, that's your problem. You think we're a cult? I don't agree with all
No,
Republicans,
I didn't. I didn't say that.
dumbass.
I didn't say that. I don't know why you thought that I was saying that. No.
I don't even know who they are. So,
Nobody knows who they are, Belinda. They don't know. They don't know. That's why it's non-binary now. Everybody doesn't know.
Who does he?
Belinda, I don't know what you are.
That's not even.
hey, now, hey,
You
everyone's
say
got
you're
that
Belinda,
strange.
but are you Belinda? You could be somebody else.
Hey, Belinda, are there any other people in the queue?
No, because I got mines in high places. I can be up as much as
That
I
wasn't.
want,
That
nigga.
wasn't. That
This is
wasn't.
showtime,
I'm
bitch.
not. That
Gift
wasn't even a
me. I
jab at
need
you, bro.
money. I
That
need
wasn't even.
money.
That
I
wasn't
need
even a
money.
jab at
I
you,
need
bro.
Okay,
money.
so I
I'm
That
think
wasn't
broke.
even a
T-Bone
jab
was
at you.
saying.
I'm
I
a
think it.
broke black man.
I'm
I
legit.
need
I'm legit.
money.
Oh my God! Can you please mute him, Belinda?
Oh,
Okay,
For the
so
love
Tbone,
of
you're
real
a
quick.
God,
fucking Power Ranger. You got
please,
a
man.
ski mask on. You embarrass
I'm just trying to
yourself.
talk to you.
Okay, so real quick, T-Bone.
The reason I'm asking is because, as you can hear, I got a party that I got to go to for my
Yeah.
homeboy's
You got a
dad's
party you got to
retirement.
rob because you're black.
Yes, that's what it is. My
Thank you.
homeboy's father, who just retired from all those years of working.
Okay, so T-Bone,
Did they give him a watch?
Bitch.
I want to thank you again, T-Bone, for this debate. I think you did a good job. AJ, you did a phenomenal job. I know what AJ knows, and actually, AJ knows more than I know. He has all the transcripts from the courts. He has all the video footage, so that's why I'm gonna have to side with AJ. I know I ain't supposed to say anything, but I get I
I
could.
do I do want to make a quick suggestion because there's so much with this case because I have like several different files that I couldn't get to. It's because I was out
We
anyways,
both
but it
do.
wouldn't have
We
mattered, right?
both do.
Huh?
I said we both do.
Right. I think the suggestion would be for a more open dialogue and not having set times. We just have to come into this like it's a regular TikTok debate so that we can show shit. I think the only problem though is that other people are going to want to come up and then there's going to be a lot of disrespect that comes from that shit. So
Yeah.
I don't
So
know how
next
y'all want to
time,
meet in the middle. Oh, go
I
ahead.
I agree, T-Bone. I think next time we won't have any open boxes. It will just be you and AJ, and you guys can
Oh
freestyle. But
shit, not a threequel,
if
man.
if if AJ wants to do it, if AJ wants to get more in depth about it, um, oh shit,
Mm.
that will be up to AJ. And I'm
AJ
saying,
gonna be the first TikTok three-peat because this shit is a wash, man. Sick of this shit.
Where do you be in these
Bring
debates?
somebody else. Bring
Because I
somebody
don't
else
see
up.
your ass
Not a
on this
three-peat.
platform at all, Prince.
T-Bone, you are
You
the
got a lot to
fucking
say for a nigga that be scared to go around
you
this
are the
platform and
fucking
debate people. I'm
Jasmine
just saying.
Crockett of
People
TikTok,
don't know
nigga.
your
You just
name.
be they just put you
People do
out
not
there
know
just
your
to
name
lose
around here,
for 'em.
bro.
They
You're
put you
not
out there to
special.
lose.
All you
Your
do is
name is
go around
Kamala
and
Bone.
speak all of that
Kamala
bullshit in
Bone.
conservative spaces,
Kamala
bro. You're just
Bone.
entertaining. That's all you are.
Kamala
But you know
Bone,
that the only
nigga.
entertainment you can get is in conservative spaces. You know
Oh
better than to come over here, nigga.
Go
You
over
know
where,
better.
nigga? I will go wherever
Go
the
wherever,
fuck I
go
want,
wherever
nigga.
the
You
heat
can't
is,
do
bro.
shit, nigga. You
See,
can't.
like, look. This is the difference
Nigga,
between
go
me and you,
wild
Prince,
out
right?
at your party, nigga. Go
You
wild
see
out.
how I'm
Go
in a
wild out,
conservative
bitch.
space,
You can't tell
unbothered
me
by
where
you
the fuck
niggas to
I can
bring
go,
y'all
nigga.
facts. You
The
see how
fuck are you
unbothered I
talking
am?
about?
You're pussy. Like
T-Bone.
Yeah.
I can go to a conservative
Hold on,
space where
Prince.
there's people and
Nigga,
present
nobody
fucking
gives a
facts.
fuck
Hold
where
You
on,
you
can't,
go,
Prince.
nigga.
T-Bone. I don't
You're a
care,
T-Bone.
pussy.
nigga. I
You're
T-Bone.
a
don't.
pussy.
I'm
I just
talking
want
T-Bone.
y'all
shit
to
with
know
a
that you
smile on
are
T-Bone.
a
my
Hold
face,
pussy.
on.
nigga.
Prince,
You
You're
stop
a
really
talking.
pussy.
serious?
right?
Ain't
Prince.
I don't really got much to say to you because
Hold
you
on,
ain't have to go
T-Bone.
and jazz
Fuck
up your
out of
shit.
here.
So
Okay,
fuck
hold on,
that.
Go
Prince.
wild out,
T-Bone.
bitch.
Hey, look, I'm gonna catch y'all
Yeah,
later.
you do that.
We'll talk
Yeah,
about
You
it
do
catch
later.
that.
these
You do that.
balls, nigga.
So check this out. So when T-Bone's talking about where's Prince at and why people don't know
No,
Prince
Keisha,
in the
don't even
street,
tell them niggas. No, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it.
you sure?
Yeah, that ski mask nigga, the nigga was on live in the ski mask, Keisha. I ain't got to tell that nigga what I've been up to. we know his moves. He about to go rob a nigga.
Okay.
I ain't got to prove nothing to these niggas.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Nigga
All right.
came up looking like a whole Power Ranger. You gonna talk about me, nigga? I ain't scared to go in no space, nigga. And I
Let's
don't
be
go on TikTok spaces because, nigga, it don't pay me.
that
Nigga, my
part.
checks don't say TikTok. They say the United States government, nigga.
Ooh, y'all.
Forever. Nigga, I ain't got to punch no clock. Fuck wrong with this nigga? He on a whole lot. The nigga was on a live with a ski mask.
How many bedrooms we got? Shit, stop playing.
6
Okay.
with
Okay.
5 bathrooms. Come holler at me.
I almost burned one of them down. I love it.
Facts.
Okay,
What's wrong with
everybody,
this
I want
nigga?
you to meet Trifecta. They are
Nigga,
all in
take
my
them
bio.
coins you just earned and get you some gas, nigga.
I wish.
You ain't at no fucking party for a retired friend. Nigga, you are the party. You the DJ, nigga.
But he calling you a pussy. Nigga, bye. Nigga, bye. Welcome to the motherfucking trifecta, bitches.
Fuck wrong with that
I was
nigga.
just coming to tell him. I was coming to let him know
No,
why
no,
you
no.
not here.
No. The days of telling these niggas are over. They can think what they want.
You
All I
right.
know is this is the second time that nigga got trounced. Now, if you want to go for a 3P AJ, you do it. But I don't have the bandwidth. I don't.
No, I don't, Prince.
Oh my gosh.
I don't. And then to the sloth looking ass nigga, until you get texts at 3 a.m. asking us specific questions about the Central Park 5, if you ever get in the box and tell my boy to do his research, I will find that fruity ass Skittle you call a flag and I will burn that motherfucker. Fuck wrong with these?
I'm still really confused as to why Tbone backtracked on that statement about DNA being
Because that's what
unreliable.
they do. Because I'm
But
going to tell you what happened, Lee.
but see, here's the thing though. It went from being unreliable and we can't
Yep.
take that into
Yep.
consideration.
I
But
didn't
then
catch that. Thank you, Lee.
in his closing statement, he said, "But it is reliable." So I didn't, and then yeah.
This is why those 5 motherfuckers lost. Because if they had a lawyer like Tbone, show me where I said that. It's right here in the document. I didn't say that. What?
Well, and then what I found interesting was he showed a
Shut up,
transcript
pussy.
of he showed the transcript of the phone call, but he didn't actually show the phone call itself. And then he said timestamps, but he didn't really show the timestamps.
Okay,
The
can we just
nigga
discuss
lost
how?
when
Right.
he said that it wasn't no DNA in my man's drawers. It's
Okay, but
literally in the.
okay,
You know
Prince,
what?
we're not doing this all over again. We just did it. But can I just say this?
Yes.
I have perfected the art of getting crash outs from
You're getting
interesting
better. You're getting better.
That was one of the best ones. For
to
one word. One
to
word.
to
One word.
you opened your mouth and didn't say much. Y'all need to work on taking a joke. I
Jesus.
don't know what is going on, and I don't know why y'all is so uptight, but you already know if we come in here, we're gonna be saying something smart and slick. You can't even take a joke. You guys are so
Oh,
uptight that you can't even take a joke.
shit. Wait a minute. And to the chocolate milk dug ass nigga that got one
Oh,
video of him hitting a punching bag really, really slow. Nigga, ain't nothing bitch about me, nigga.
oh my
Ain't
God.
nothing bitch about me. You gonna get up there and tell some AJ, you tried. You peeled to
I'm
emotionless.
like,
No,
no,
you
no, no.
emotional,
I
you bald headed
I
nigga.
appealed to emotion strategically. There's a difference between me and y'all.
And you got to crash out on the stand, nigga.
And I knew what
Congratulations.
I was doing with my closing statement. I said, yes, this is for the people who really are victims here.
They
Got it.
guilty. Whatever. We already know the truth. And you know what's funny? You guys would like to think that we would just want people to be guilty. If they weren't guilty, we would say they weren't guilty.
That part.
Facts.
I want them to be not guilty.
Yes. Like if there was something wrong, we would say there's something wrong. We've done our research. We've done the due diligence. We don't have any emotional attachment to this. You think just because somebody's skin is melanated, we gonna be emotionally attached? Nigga, get the fuck up out of here. That's why you over
Wait a
here
minute. What?
crying and screaming, get her ass out of
Wait.
here.
Wait. Wait. Keisha, wait a minute. No. Wait. Keisha, you mean how dare you be objective?
Oh,
But
Fuck
even the
that nigga.
prosecutor said we should have dropped
we should have only dropped the grape charge. That's what the prosecutor literally said.
Yes.
So they even acknowledged, okay, cool. Based on this, drop the grape charge. Still doesn't mean y'all getting off scot-free.
Yep. They botched that. The city did a
they did.
disjustice to the entire state of New York.
Yep.
And it's easy to be emotional about stuff because that's where y'all live. Y'all live in that space. That's why when I came up here, Tbone lost his whole mind. But you know what? Tbone got a thing for attacking women. He likes that.
Mm-hmm.
He likes
He
that.
even called me a pussy, so he just can't help himself.
And then he don't like me, so I could say some things about that. But
You only stay in conservative spaces, nigga. I'm never on this app.
That part.
I went to 13K
part.
and left, nigga, like I'm at 1 million. Like I'm good. I don't need TikTok, nigga.
Wait,
I came,
you know what's
I
funny?
saw, I conquered.
Wait, what spaces am I in?
Yeah, like
talking about?
nigga, you the
But guess
one that
what?
go around acting like Jasmine
Okay.
Crockett on TikTok, Kamala Bone.
Okay, hold on. I got one thing for Tbone. All the spaces this nigga been in, all the debating you doing. How many followers you got again?
Nigga wouldn't even show his face.
Get the fuck up out of here, nigga.
And
You know
then when
what
he
I look
finally
like.
show his face, it's just his eyes, like he from Star Wars or some shit.
He's famous, didn't you know? People want to find him. So I like to remind people, I don't need to debate. I said it before. I don't argue on TikTok because I argue in real life. Where when people pay hundreds of dollars per hour, okay? And I got too many Starbucks. Belinda's slacking. Look, Belinda is slacking on her that part. Belinda's slacking on her 50% of our one Starbucks. So I'm keeping up the slack there. Okay.
My bank account got
but the nigga really came in here talking some, okay, can we drop him? Nigga, do you know where those circles are at? They're next to Belinda and they're next to Ink. Nigga, I ain't getting dropped. Like, what's wrong with you?
Prince, we should have just did a FaceTime because you on one.
I feel like we need one because he done wound me up. Somebody was like, this been 4 years in the making. It has. I'm sick. This is why them dummies, and I'm literally telling y'all, this is why y'all keep losing elections and y'all don't want to listen. But you know what? I'm done helping you. Yeah, go ahead. Jasmine's the future. Tbone's the future. Jones X is the future. All you TikTok Kool-Aid beard, consciously with the big words, all of y'all are the future. Do it big with a black fist. Do it. Yes. Yes, you can. Yes, the fuck you cannot. Ever.
Okay.
4 years,
Belinda.
4 more years, bitch. Donald Jarvavius Trump, bitch.
Prince, call me. Let's just hit the FaceTime.
Prince thinks you guys are on your three-way call right now.
Let's just hit the FaceTime, Prince.
All
Let's
right.
just hit the FaceTime. All right. Okay. Love you, B. I'll text you in a minute.
Okay. Okay, so AJ, I want to say again, you did a phenomenal job. You did your homework, as always. And there were people, I seen some people in the comments that said you showed no sources. You literally named all your sources at the beginning in your opening argument.
Yo, fuck y'all.
It was early.
This is what I said. I said these fucking people don't listen.
Right.
They only listen for shit they don't like.
Yeah.
That's all. They don't listen to everything you said. Yeah. I can literally email your dumb ass what the fuck I read off my screen. And then you tell me where there are no sources. And literally, as I'm reading my presentation, I'm saying in this report, in this article, in this thing from the state of New York, I'm literally saying that. And you mean to tell me you caught none of it?
Okay, so what I do want to say is everybody was invited up. Everybody who came up, all but 2 said you won. The poll said you won by 90-something%. I'll send you the exact amount in Telegram. So
Thank y'all for gifting me. Thank y'all for voting for me. Appreciate it.
And there was over 200 people in the room at one time. So I will say, and they were gifting Tbone, so it wasn't like there was not liberals or Democrats in this room.
There were.
So you can't tell me that only 6% of liberals were in this room. So I think
Right.
it was a fair debate. I think you won it fair and square. T-Bone did do some homework. I will give him credit for that. I'll give him credit for at least stepping up to debate you a 1v1 for the second time because he is
And
definitely
the last.
yeah, and the last. I mean, if you guys ever wanted to talk about it ever again, if he comes into your live or whatever, that's on you. You don't need to do any more structured debates. We already know you know all the information about it, and it was not enough time. Just like MJ said, there was not enough time.
Because I needed to get that Corey Wise stuff in there. I couldn't have time to do it. Yeah, I had, and I'm literally watching Kevin Richardson right now talk about being at the scene and what he did there.
Right.
And I'm sitting there like, that's why I muted. I was like, wait a minute, I know what I heard.
Right. And I watched it all. That's why I know it was too much information, too much short a time to give all that information out. So yeah, we kind of dropped the ball on that for your information, the time slots, but you still did a phenomenal job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's all.
Ooh, it's over. All right.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank y'all. Later, y'all.
Thank you, everyone.